There we go, chat. Okay. Got that all set up right. Default Yeti microphone. Just getting this all fully set up real quick. It's been a minute since I was on here. I think I actually was using this input capture. I think I put my mic out a little bit louder, so there we go. So a little bit louder, there we go. That's the mic we wanted to. So yes, we are here for the first college football live stream of the 2025 season, where we are going to be watching or doing live play-by-play for the USF versus Miami game. Pretty good game, at least it should be. Now, USF, for those of you who don't know, USF, University of South Florida, headed into the season as just kind of a team, right? I don't think anyone had real expectations for them. Then in week one, I mean, we can pull it up real quick over here. Then in week one, they ended up getting this 34-7 win over Boise State. And this is a big part of why I decided to do this game versus another game like, let's say, Georgia, Tennessee. I did watch this game. It was wild to see South Florida just obliterate them. This wasn't even a game. It was just a thrashing. It was kind of close for like about a quarter and a half, but South Florida just took it away. That was against a then-ranked 25 Boise State team. Then in week two, you had them play, at the time, ranked 13 Florida. And once again, got the W. This one, I didn't watch this one, but they still got the W here, and I put the wrong one on. Recap's what I meant to put on. So you have this, huge kick at the end of the game. Gramatica made the big kick, and that was a big deal, and they ended up taking home the W, obviously. And look at that. They were 18.5-point underdogs. And now they are in this matchup where they are 17.5-point underdogs. So they are still massive underdogs. And a big part of that is because Miami has been really good. I mean, well, they played Notre Dame, and Notre Dame obviously made it to the Natty last year. I was one of the few people who actually believed in that team. They did make it to the national championship, and then this year they ended up beating them 27-24. Awesome game. And then they destroyed, random Bethune. So the fact is they do have a massive win on their resume. And it's a big reason why they are such big favorites against South Florida. But South Florida already has that massive, really two massive wins. If they win this, that's 3 consecutive ranked W's for Southern Florida. And obviously, Cincinnati Bearcats fan, AAF, right, or AFC, I mean, American Athletic Conference. Watch a lot of games in that conference. One of my, more favorite conferences in football or college football because of just how much I've watched. I hate how they, lost so many of their good teams, but it still is great to see that this is the team that early on looks like they're going to be that group of 5 team that ends up making a big run. So let's get this poll open to who wins. And yes, it's who wins, not do they cover the spread, because this team has proven that they can potentially get this upset. I don't think they're going to get it. But I do think they're going to cover. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. Like, I think some people think that it's going to be a blowout. They want to prove their point. I don't think that happens, but we'll see and all that. I don't know. Tyler Smith just got a 4-year, $96 million extension, the highest paid guard in NFL history. Yeah, I may have agreed to a point with the decision to not... Well, let me phrase. I fully agreed not wanting to pay Micah that amount of money, but the fact that you, as soon as you got rid of him, paid Deron Blaine, who then got hurt, and then paid Tyler Smith isn't a good look, but it also kind of is. I don't know. Brendan Sorsby's got 5 touchdowns for the Bearcats. I watched that week 1 game. They should have won it. They didn't. It was really upsetting to watch that game. But, man, Brendan Sorsby doing really good now. We'll see. I mean, last year they could have made the playoffs. Technically they could have won out at the end. They didn't, obviously. For those of you who are just seeing this, we just saw Georgia Tech pull off the upset over Clemson. For some reason, it felt like that, and, well, Wisconsin didn't end up happening, but felt like Wisconsin and Georgia Tech were very legitimate upset candidates. And Georgia Tech pulled off the upset against Clemson. Wild final drive, was able to get in the field goal range, made a long field goal, got it. Huge game right there. Watching 3 games at once, Pitt versus West Virginia, plus Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Richmond, and UNC versus Richmond. I was debating going to that first game. It wouldn't have been the biggest drive for me, but I decided not to. But yeah, Tennessee-Georgia is a huge game on right now, so we got a couple of big, top 25 matchups. That's definitely a really good one. That's also on right now. But obviously, I picked this one. I think it's, more of a, at least to me, it's more of a fun experience to see a group of 5 team that has been able to pull off 2 big W's in back-to-back weeks. If they can pull it off again, would be wild to see. I mean, winning 3 straight top 25 games. Even if you're a power team like a Bama, that's still a big deal. So the fact that they could legitimately pull that off is insane, especially doing it from, a team in the 20s to the 10s to then the single digits. My God. I mean, this is the kind of game where if they win, it's like they're guaranteed to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because let me pull up their schedule on the side here. USF football schedule. So they've got a couple of cupcakes, a few cupcakes. Yeah, I mean, Navy, Memphis, and... Yeah, I mean, this is the last big game for South Florida. In theory, if South Florida does somehow pull off this upset, it is very possible they go undefeated in the regular season. Because, like, this isn't the UTSA from a couple years ago. It was finishing undefeated. Navy, I don't think has been as good as they were last year or 2 years ago whenever they were really good. Yeah, let's see. No, they're 2-0 and they got 2 big wins. So, maybe... I don't know, but let's see. Tulane is, yeah. I mean, South Florida, they've got a shot at doing something legit here, so we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, this game's going to start in like 15 minutes. So, yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Carson Beck, obviously, is the big talking point with Miami. He came from Georgia, and he's looked really good. It's only been 2 weeks, but he's looked really good. Yeah, the pregame being 17.5. I am shocked at it being 17.5 as the spread. I get Miami, is better than Florida, but, I mean, they just beat Florida. That was still a ranked team, but I don't know. Now, while we're on this pregame, because I'm not doing the dual thing, let's see what else is going on at the moment. Another delay. I wonder what's delayed for this time. Oregon State versus Tech is delayed right now. Georgia, Tennessee is 14-7. Tennessee over Georgia. Tennessee are, 9 spots below them. Auburn got the W over South Alabama. Has there been any other upsets? Indy, 73-0. I didn't even see that game yesterday. Bama did get the win over Wisconsin. Oklahoma did its job. Again, Georgia Tech got the huge upset. Michigan did its job. Oregon did its job. Missouri really did its job as well. Yeah, so far, Tech is the only team that really has... I mean, Clemson's the only team that's really failed. And tonight, you've got the big Notre Dame A&M game. And you've also got Florida LSU. I've seen a lot of people... That's another one. I forgot there was a third one. I've seen a lot of people actually suggest Florida could pull off the upset. I don't know if I buy that, but, like, the Brian Kelly LSU teams these past couple of years definitely have not been as good as they were supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, talked all this trash about Notre Dame, about how you can't win, and then as soon as that happens, Notre Dame gets really good, makes it to the championship, and LSU hasn't even made the playoffs. So, like, I wouldn't be stunned if Florida pulls off the upset. I just don't think it is. I actually think it's more likely that USF pulls off the upset, but yeah. Who doesn't love to pull for the underdog, but I watched Miami since the Jimmy Johnson days. Speaking of the Jimmy Johnson Miami, I just like a couple weeks ago, watched the whole Cowboys documentary on Netflix. Man, Jerry Jones really lucked into those Super Bowls. I mean, really. Herschel Walker trade working out as well as it did. And then just, especially the third Super Bowl with, Cowher's just, not Cowher, oh my God, I'm spacing on his name. I literally just watched it. You know what I'm talking about, the Oklahoma coach. You all know who I'm talking about. I just can't remember his name for the life, to save my life. But, like, winning that Super Bowl with him was really wild. And honestly, he was the only guy that really felt like he kind of gained from the documentary. Like, Jimmy Johnson, it didn't feel like, to me, really gained anything from it. Aikman didn't. Irvin, I would say, did. Smith, I would say, did to a point. But, yeah, I mean, it was a documentary for sure. Cowboys head coach all time. Okay, I literally cannot for the life of me remember who I'm talking about, and I'm actually so upset that I can't remember this. Barry Switzer, that's what I was thinking of, yeah. I mean, Barry Switzer ended up looking pretty good, honestly, all things considered, in that documentary. I feel like he kind of came out the best of everybody. Because in that kind of documentary, it's always great to see, like, who really comes out looking good. He looked really good. Both. Johnson, not that much. Jerry Jones, not at all. A lot of the players, but yeah. Tennessee scored, so let's see what that score is. So what is it now, 21? Yeah, 21-7. That's hilarious. That's actually beautiful. Love to see that. Notifications for that one. Let's go up here. Looks like we just got an update from AFN. Matthew finally posted something. It's been a minute, but got that going up. So, let's see. It is 4:25, so knowing how college football pregame is, we're probably about like 10 minutes away from the game actually starting. We still got to pull up, see who you guys think is going to get the W between Miami and University of South Florida. I I think Miami's going to win. I'd love to see South Florida get the W. I'd love to see the AAC get some more love. Because, again, this is really, like, I don't know every team's schedule. Obviously, there's too many teams to keep track of. But I can't really think of anybody in the AAC that could really make, like, a big run aside from South Florida based on what their schedules are. So I'm trying to pull up what, like, let's say Tulane's schedule is right now. They don't really have a couple of big... They have an Ole Miss matchup that's big, but, like, again, the fact that South Florida is able to pull off a big upset is huge. Like, 2 of them, yeah. I have Miami winning. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they're going to get the W here. Like, last year's Miami team probably loses this game, honestly. This year's Miami team, I don't think so. But, yeah. Being a diehard, I have a different view. The Cowboys, man. You know, speaking of it, since I don't think I've streamed since the Micah Parsons trade, in all honesty, I think that the Micah Parsons... Is my computer just bugging? Or, okay, where is... There it is. Honestly, the Micah Parsons trade, I don't think it's as bad as people said it was for the Cowboys. The one thing that's important to note is Micah Parsons is one of those guys that disappears when it matters most. Historically, he has been a playoff non-performer. And to be paid the amount of money that he was paid... Now, look, if Jerry could have gotten him for, let's just say for the sake of argument, 30 or 35 million, like he legitimately could have back early on, that's on him. But if you say that he was not going to take that much money, I wouldn't pay him what he got paid. I think that is an overpayment. He's going to do what he always does. He starts off the season really hot, then he either tapers off or gets hurt, doesn't win DPOY despite being the favorite. Like, they're talking about how he's this big favorite. He's been the big favorite every year, and he always fails to win and always fails to even be a finalist. And with Green Bay, I think this is kind of a smokescreen early on in the season. Because, I mean, the Commies, they didn't look awesome against the Giants. I watched the game against the Giants. They made a lot of mistakes. The Giants just really suck. Right? And then the Packers game, even that one was not like a true stomping. It was like a clear win, but it wasn't a stomping, right? I don't know. I don't think that the Packers, like, stole Micah Parsons from the Cowboys. And I think that paying him the amount they did was a bit wild. You know, maybe this take ages poorly, but historically, Micah Parsons, once, you know, we hit January, you can't even see him on the football field, right? I mean, at least Dak has given you, like, a couple good quarters in the playoffs and, like, 1 or 2 good games. But, like, Parsons has, like, just never been present in the playoffs. So, I don't know if it's the worst decision in the world, but with Jerry's propensity of not paying players when he could have, if he did what he should have, he could have gotten Dak for sub $50 million probably. Could have gotten CD cheaper, and he could have gotten Micah for probably under $40 million. Those are all big mistakes on Jerry. So it's one of those where it's kind of like a double-edged sword. On one hand, at the moment, Jerry made the right call not paying him that money. The other hand, he should have paid him earlier to keep him and actually have it be worth the money you're paying him. You know what I mean? Like, I think Michael got, like, was it $48 million a year? Like, he ain't worth $48 million a year. And the Packers are going to realize that come playoff time. But, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we got 2 first. Like, Micah Parsons, look, getting a player regular season as good as Micah, where they got Micah, is very hard to do. But Micah was not a top 3 pick. He was somebody that was picked, I think it was around the 20s, and he just ended up being this insane player. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you know that. But I think he was a later first-round pick. Not like late, but later. And so do I think that they're going to get a single player better than him? No. But are they going to get 2 players that could be almost as good as him and save the $40 million? Yes. And again, would I have paid Bland Smith the amount of money? Debatable. Smith probably. Bland, I don't know. He kind of is a one-year wonder so far. But you were able to save money from Micah to then spend on other guys and actually get the deals done before they're about to be free agent. But we'll see. All I know is the Cowboys will be talked about the whole season. No matter how well or how bad Micah Parsons plays, this trade's going to be talked about. People are acting like this is one of the biggest trades in the history of the NFL. No. Like, is it a top 5% trade all time? Yes. Is this as big a trade as the Russ trade? No. Is this as big a trade as the Deshaun Watson trade? No. The Herschel Walker trade? No. And if it wasn't for the fact that he's on the Cowboys, I wouldn't even say it's a bigger trade than the Khalil Mack trade was a few years ago. Like, think about it. If you had Khalil Mack on the Cowboys and he got traded the way he was, That would have been a bigger deal in this trade, honestly. But I don't know. Cowboys are a team. I all I can say is I'm glad I'm not a Cowboys fan. Back in multiple first again, I'm not a fan of this theory. Yeah, I wouldn't trade multiple first. I think what we have seen historically is trading the farm to get a top quarterback is not the greatest idea. The Niners did it for Trey Lance, and it really failed. They just got lucky. They got, Purdy. The Panthers, I watched them do this for Bryce Young, and it didn't work. Because, the one thing that people forget is the media machine is making it to where, this generational quarterback is every 2 years. Just think about, 5 years ago, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was the greatest college prospect, arguably of all time. But he was definitely the best since Andrew Luck. Then Caleb Williams. He is clearly the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, maybe of all time. Then it was Bryce Young, incredible prospect. Or Bryce Young was before it. Bryce Young, incredible prospect. Dude was a baller at Alabama. His size doesn't matter. Best prospect since Andrew Luck. And they're saying the same thing about Arch. So, how much of it is smokescreen? How much of it is real? Don't know. All I know is I wouldn't trade up for Arch Manning because I wouldn't trade up for a quarterback. If I have to trade more than 2 firsts, I'm not doing it. Or more than 1. I'd only trade 1 first to move up for a quarterback because historically, Bryce Young failed. I believe it's failed. Lawrence, so far, failed. Caleb looks like a fail. Arch, wouldn't be shocked if the same thing happens. The game's about to start, though. South Florida versus Miami. This should be a fun one. Miami leads the series 6-1. They're just showing at the bottom right there on College Football Saturday, or CW Football Saturday. So we'll see if South Florida can end up making this one. Again, they were about 13.5-point underdogs against Florida when they ended up pulling off the W to end with a field goal. And then I don't remember how big an underdog they were against Boise State, but they were an underdog against Boise and they ended up thrashing them. Miami had the incredible win in Week 1 against Notre Dame. Last week, they got a W against a cupcake. How impressive is it? Debatable. But this is somewhat of a big test for them. We'll see if it ends up working out for them. If it doesn't, if they get the W here, it's huge. I did not look at Miami's schedule. That's one thing I forgot to do. Miami schedule. So let's see. Who is their schedule? Because, I know they've got some legit games. They play Florida literally next week. So that's one that we'll see what happens. FSU, they're playing them in 2 weeks. They've got a pretty tough schedule, the next few games. They kind of end the season with some of the, lower end ACC teams, but they still have some, legit ones. SMU's unranked. Did they lose last week? Oh, that's right. They lost to Baylor. I forgot about that. But we'll see what ends up happening. I forgot. I even watched that game, I'm pretty sure, because that was a wild game. I forgot. I forgot I even watched that game, and I just watched it last week. Man, back to college football on Saturday, and then we got football or NFL on Sunday. It's just this dude Sorsby. Did they just score again? Did they really pull it off? I can't believe the Mets are going to miss the playoffs. I know they're going to. I'm going to be so upset about it. Let's see. Trending. What's trending right now? Dabo's still trending. Yeah, I know people probably want his head after losing today. Because that was a pretty embarrassing loss. I watched it. That was not a good one. Every talk show I watched said the same thing. They said Georgia Tech starts off really good. Clemson is more of a late game team. They're going to have to come from behind. Immediately it's like a 2-touchdown deficit like that. And then they just stopped scoring in the second half. They just couldn't do anything. And Georgia Tech didn't even do anything in the second half, really. And they still got the W. Sorsby is 13 of 13 for 212 and 5 TDs. Damn. I can't believe Evan Pryor's still with the Bearcats. Honestly. He's been here for so long. Oh, that's Evan? Okay, I don't even know. I don't know. Bottom line is, I'm thinking the wrong guy, but Sorsby, man, hopefully he keeps it up, because I remember watched him last year, or not last year, in Week 1, and I was very much upset about his performance in Week 1, mainly in that final drive with that awful decision to throw that deep ball, but whatever. We'll see. Yeah, I know I got some people I know watching the Georgia game that are big Georgia fans, but we'll see. There we go. So let's see. Are we going to actually get this game starting soon? It's already 4:35. We'll see. So, again, still got the poll up for you who want to vote on this one. Who wins? Miami versus University of South Florida. Again, both teams already have impressive wins on their resume. Well, one of them has wins, one has won. With Miami, they did pull off the big win against Notre Dame in Week 1. USF just beat a Florida-based team that's ranked in Florida last week by pretty much like a last-second field goal, and they pulled off the big upset and demolished Boise State in week 1. So can they do it again? If they pull this one off, the rest of their schedule is relatively easy. They do not have really any other massive games. Navy is probably like their toughest task in the rest of the season. So if they're able to pull off this W, should in theory go on to be undefeated during the regular season, then we'll see if they make the, dance. But if they win this game, they definitely control their own destiny to making the college football playoffs. Obviously, with the whole change, even though they changed the rules again with the playoffs, it still is that if you are the highest ranked Group of 5 team, you make the playoffs. And there's a very real shot that South Florida can get this W and just straight up be a top 10 ranked team. If they go undefeated, including winning the AAC, they're probably going to finish top 10 because of this win, depending on how Miami finishes the year, obviously. There's a lot of things is what happens, afterwards. Like Clemson, man, that loss just looks really bad for them. They're losing to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's probably going to be ranked, I would imagine, 20th come tomorrow, but we'll see. So we got Carson Beck, obviously the former Georgia quarterback. A lot of people used to believe he was going to be a guaranteed first rounder, potential first overall pick. Then he kind of had a bit of a down year with Georgia, wasn't that great with them, and is now a part of Miami. So we'll see if they're able to, continue this winning. Last year with Cam Ward, they ended up having a really poor defense. They gave up a ton of points. They lost a lot of games while scoring 40 points. Not a lot, but a few games that really, came to bite them in the back. And this year, so far, the defense has looked much improved. Carson Beck is a great quarterback. Is he better than Cam Ward was? I would say, from the little I've seen, no. Including what I saw in Georgia and what I've seen here, no. But even with a slightly downgraded quarterback, their defense has been much better, and that was their big issue last year. So they definitely have a shot to do something. Showing a bit of a recap of USF right now about their 2 big ranked wins in week 1 and 2. Again, they can start the season going 3-0 against ranked teams if they pull off this upset, but they are about 17.5-point underdogs. The over-under is right at, 56.5. Moneyline has Miami at a -800. Matchup predictor says it's about a 28% chance that USF wins. Kind of shocked it's that high. I would imagine a 17-point spread, you'd see it differently. I guess a lot of this is people's feeling that there's no way Miami's going to, there's no way USF can pull it off again since they just beat a Florida-based ranked team last week. But we'll see. Game's about to kick off. Got the announcers in there, so finally about to start. Some more tweets come out from the Bearcats. Did they just score again? Oh, no. They didn't just score again, did they? Sword be running, and he did. Oh, my gosh. That's wild. That's wild. I can't believe they're doing that. Debating on streaming that one if I had access to it, but I don't want to get my hopes up with Cincinnati. I got my hopes up last year that we were going to at least make a bowl game when we were 1 win away from it halfway through the season. Then we ended up losing out the rest of the season. And everything around the conference played out to where if Cincinnati had won out, they would have made the playoffs. So it got worse and worse, but it is what it is. So we are ready. Again, poll is up. USF or Miami, who gets the W? Big game here for both teams, obviously. Miami, if they can get this W. This truly shows that they are a legit team for this season. They're able to get this win against a good ranked team that already has 2 ranked wins. Miami will then have 2 ranked wins, including a big one against Notre Dame in this one. If USF wins, they should be top 3 in the AP poll. Oh, man. Mo, what is the reason for the Tech game being delayed? Do you know? I know you're more an A&M guy, but do you know what the Tech game is delayed? Because I saw it was delayed. I don't know if it's been undelayed, but because I just haven't looked it up, but yeah. Speaking of Tech, where is Tech ranked? I don't remember where they're ranked, honestly. I don't remember if they're ranked. It's just, the conference changing has been something else, too. SEC, A&M 2-0, and their wins are against UTSA. And you just, I forgot they're literally playing Notre Dame. I literally mentioned that earlier this stream. Yeah. USC and Purdue is delayed, too? Dang. So I got a couple delays. It feels like we're getting a lot more delays, and I really hate it. The lightning delays especially, I don't know. I don't think there was that many lightning delays back in the 90s. Some things are better in the 90s. But a delay, I would imagine it's probably a storm then, something like that. I would hope. Or not hope, but you know what I mean, but we'll see. But yeah, USC and Purdue, I know that's the big matchup, I think, on Fox, but yeah, we got 3 top 25 matchups this week. It's pretty good. I don't think there was one earlier. You've got the 2 of them going on right now, and then you've got the Tech versus Notre Dame one. That should be a good game, but I know you're going to probably watch that mole. I am probably not. Well, no. It's 7:30. I believe Canelo Alvarez is 10 o'clock as the main card start because obviously you have the biggest boxing match in very long time. I've been trying to figure it out. I mean, considering their age and they're like still kind of in their prime, this is probably one of the biggest boxing matches. Arguably the biggest in the past 20 years, but definitely one of the biggest all time. Two guys that are like quite arguably the two best in the world. Because I think Canelo's like only losses are like to Mayweather back when Mayweather was like Mayweather, and like maybe one other legit loss that was still to a really good player or good fighter. And then Crawford's undefeated, so that's a huge boxing match. And the fact that it is, just on Netflix is wild. I can't wait for the Netflix delays. I can't wait for there to be issues on Netflix. You know it's going to happen. It's going to be great. But we've got that going on tonight. UFC is going on right now. UFC Noche, the biggest downgrade in a long time. So yeah. You're at Notre Dame. That's sick. That's sick right there. I wouldn't be against doing that. I mean, I bandwagoned that team so hard last year, starting about, I think week 6 last year. I was bandwagoning that team so hard. And watching them get to the finals, man, I was so happy about that. Shame they lost, but that's cool. You're going to be at that game. I haven't been to a college football game, and I think, wow, it's probably been 4 years. I think it might have been, it was pre-COVID. I went to the last Ritter Bearcats game at ECU. That was rough, considering rough in terms of I haven't been to a college game since then, but that was a fun game. Cincinnati started slow and they ended up just demolishing them in the end. It was great. Won a game, and they didn't win a game last season. Well, we got it. So Carson Beck is going to be coming out to the field first with Miami. So we'll see if they can end up getting a big opening score here. Again, 17.5-point underdogs is USF. Miami had the big win against Notre Dame. And then, obviously, USF has had 2 big wins already this season against Boise State and against Florida. Can they add a 3rd consecutive ranked win? Let's see what Florida does. Beck is in shotgun. Got a couple receivers to his left. A couple line up next to the line of scrimmage to the right. Or next to the line to the right. Running backs to his right as well. Ball is snapped. Looks in the middle of the field. Looks to the right. Throws it over the middle. It is caught for a first down. And then about 5 extra yards. About a 15-yard reception for the first play for Miami. Really solid start for them right there. I did see Michigan get that huge W. Most of the teams, aside from Clemson, that were playing those unranked teams really got the W, but yeah. Had to be out of state, did my chips, beat my Wolverines. Nah, Michigan got the big W right there. Let's see what Miami does in their second play. Beck is once again in shotgun, a bunch formation on the right side of the line. They hand it off. Cuts the middle, but they are able to get him down. Depending where they give him forward progress or when they mark him down, it's either a 2 or a 4-yard gain. Still a solid rush right there for first down for Miami. Showing some impact players right here. Again, USF, I've watched both these teams. I haven't watched as much college football as I did last year. I still have watched at least 1 full game every weekend, mainly 2. But I have watched both these teams. These are 2 of the only teams I've fully watched because I watched that Boise State game and I watched that Notre Dame game. So we'll see about how it goes here. So at least know some of the players compared to other teams. Ball is snapped. Bex looks to the middle of the field. Looks to the right. Throws. And it is going to be caught. But it's going to be behind the line of scrimmage. We got to mute this tab right here. There we go. Hate these ads on ESPN. I have them winning. I don't remember who Ohio State is playing, but I know. But yeah. Or talking about when they end up playing Michigan. So 3rd and 3 for Miami. Again, it was a good reception, but he was coming back instead of going forward. So obviously they lost a few yards they could have had there. Let's see if they can get the first down here, or if USF can get a stop. Not a 3-and-out, but almost a 3-and-out if they can get this one off. 1 play away from a 3-and-out. Beck is in shotgun. 3 receivers lined up close together to the left, 1 to the right. Running back is to his left as well. Ball snapped. They're going to fake the handoff, and Beck's going to run it for the first down. They are past midfield now. They're about the 46-yard line, in USF territory. So far, solid opening drive for Miami. Only been a few plays, but it's still starting off pretty solid for them. We're going to scroll down a little bit here, make it easier for guys to see. There we go. So 1st and 10. Beck is once again in shotgun, having a couple of his receivers go far to the right, 1 to his left. Running back is to his right behind the line of scrimmage, or in the backfield. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff again. Beck is looking in the middle of the field. Throwing to the right. Wide open guy gets the reception past the 30-yard line. About the 27-yard line, he catches it. Huge gain for Miami. This is looking like a great first drive for them. Let's see if they can capitalize this with a touchdown. Again, especially with college football, right? You never know when a game's going to be one of those just random low-scoring games, like with Georgia Tech versus Clemson, or it's going to be a total shootout like the game we saw last week. I did not see the Colorado game last night. I did not. I don't really think I watched really anything last night, honestly. But I did not watch the Colorado game last night. I was hearing rumblings about it. I watched like the first half of the quarter, but I did not even remember who won. So, did Colorado get the W? Beck is in shotgun, motioning receiver from the right to the left, going back to the right, hand the ball off. USF gets him down just about 2.5, 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. So far, they're stopping the running backs, or the running back, but not that much. There's only been a couple plays. Yeah. Alex Golish, 16-12 record in third season as South Florida head coach. Hey, started off pretty good this year. And, there's a couple of their big head coaches like Kellen DeBoer and Dabo Sweeney that have not been looking that great the past couple of years, or, well, in DeBoer's case a couple weeks ago. But, hey, they got the W today. Maybe he's saving his job. We'll see. Beck gets the snap, looks to the left side of the field, looks to the middle, throws it, is another wide open reception, huge hit, but he's able to hold on the ball at about the 10, maybe they'll call it the 11-yard line. They lost to Houston. Yes, AAC, former AAC glory right there. We love that. Those are some great games. I think it was like 2 or 3 straight years that the AAC championship game was Houston versus Cincinnati. I remember that one where like Smith kicked that walk-off field goal. That was a great game. Almost 5 minutes down on the clock already. Miami doing a really nice job just keeping this drive going. They're at 1st and goal. They are going to call it down at the 10-yard line. So we'll see if USF can get this goal line stand. Beck is in shotgun. All its receivers are close to the offensive line. Ball snapped. They hand it off again, and they get some pressure back there. Buddy's able to break a couple tackles. Instead of a 1 or 2 yard loss, it's about a 2-yard gain. While it's still not a great gain, he almost lost some yards. Really saw a play right there from him to gain some yards, break those couple of tackles. But if you're Miami, that is a bit scary. They were able to get some pressure back there, just get right through the offensive line and get to the backfield, but they weren't able to bring him down. So let's see, because honestly, with especially college football, there's a very high chance that they're just going to go for it and 4th down anyway. So a lot of ways, this is almost 4-down territory, even though this is still early on in the game. So we'll see if Miami does end up viewing this as 4-down territory and if USF is able to stop them. In shotgun, running back to the left. Ball is snapped. Back looks to the right, looks to the middle. Throws it. It is caught, and he gets the touchdown. Miami is up 6-0, 5.5 minutes into the game. Really solid opening drive. Only had 1 third down they had to convert, and even then it was pretty easy. Only thing that Miami's offense hasn't been doing great at so far is their running back runs, but even then it's only the first drive, and it's only been 3 rushes, and they still are all positive, but they weren't all good. But their passing attack has been beautiful. It's just been wide open receptions. This is not good for South Florida. Seeing their DBs and the linebackers not able to get good coverage early on. Bit scary. We'll see if South Florida can answer, but let's see if they can make this PAT first of all. Ball is snapped. Kick is up, and it is good. It is 7-0 Miami over USF. We will close the poll now. 60% people suggesting that or saying that USF is going to get the W. We'll see if they're able to pull it off in the end. And man, I'm forgetting. We're at that time of the year where you're starting to get a lot of sports going on again. It's like you've got that early to mid fall, and then got like that early spring where you got just so much stuff going on because you got the Pro Cure Championship going on right now. It's Pro Core. I didn't even know that was. I thought it was the other one, but you got that going on right now for golf. The last event before the Ryder Cup, which is like literally next week. Griffin's got the lead right now. Scotty pretty far down right there. Not what you want to see. While we're in break, I wonder how many weeks is he at number 1 now? Over 150 weeks total. Yeah, he has been just dominating. It's been wild. Man. Definitely wild. I mean, golf and tennis have been wild. For those of you who do follow tennis, it's been wild. I think it's 3 straight finals. I believe it's been Alcaraz versus Sinner. Tennis major finals matchups. I'm pretty sure it has legitimately been, like, absurd. Like, I think it's been, like, 3 or 4 straight. I actually have the list pulled up. Let's see. Yeah, the last 3 of the 4 this year, the French, Wimbledon, and U.S. Open, were all Alcaraz versus Sinner. And in fact, one of them has been involved in the finals since 2024 till now. Australian Open, it was Sinner versus Medvedev, and since then it's been either Sinner, Alcaraz, or both in every single final, which is insane. Including that French Open. That French Open was a wild one. The fact that it went to the fifth set and went to Super OT took so long, and then Sinner ended up getting the W and is now like ranked number 1. It was wild. That was definitely something else right there. 5.5 hours is insane. But yeah, sports now is a. Then of course we do have some other big news. I know, like WrestleMania 43 is going to be in Saudi Arabia, which no one is happy about. Like, you've got the whole joke where you're going to have all the women out there looking like Power Rangers, which nobody really wants to see. And then you have the issue, the fact that it's just them selling out, Saudi Arabia getting everything. Sports are something else now. But, hey, we still got college football. And again, Miami's showing them beating number 4 Florida State. Good old Florida State getting the win a week one is something else. Starting season 3-0 with all 3 wins over ranked opponents. Oklahoma, Iowa, Michigan, and Miami. Showing them right on screen here. Because again, South Florida can pull it off. If they get the W here, they will start season 3-0 against 3 ranked teams, including 2 of them being based in Florida, which is hilarious. But they got to score in this opening drive. Let's see if they can respond. Kick is up. And it is going to be a touchback. So we'll see if South Florida can actually respond. That'll be a big question mark. Andre Johnson. I don't know why I'm seeing that on my timeline now. There we go. Lining up in shotgun once again. Haven't seen a single play under center so far. Running back to the left. 2 receivers on both sides of the ball. Motioning one from the right to the left. He's going to go back to the line. Fake the handoff, and it's a QB run. He's going to get about 4 yards slide. They might, because of when he started sliding, they might only call it a 3-yard gain. Still a 3 or 4 yard gain right there for South Florida. We'll see if they can keep this drive. I mean, they need to score a touchdown here, or at least a field goal. You do not want to let Miami just go walk down the field the way they did and only respond with, well, nothing. You need to get at least some points. Quick snap. They throw to the left. It is caught. It's going to be a bit shy for the first down, but still going to be about a 6-yard reception. Pretty solid play right there. Going to be about 3rd and 2 for South Florida. Not against doing this quick little, quick snap. Try to catch this Miami defense off guard a bit. I'm not really against that. And they're doing a somewhat quick snap here. It looks like 2. Just getting right back to the line. 2 receivers on both sides of the ball. Running back looks like to be lined up to the left of the QB. And let's see. Motioning one from the left to the right. 3 receivers to the right now. Ball is snapped. Quick little screen pass to the right. And he gets the first down. They didn't even give him a good spot in that second down play, and they were still able to get the first down right there. That was a really solid play for Brown and the receiver right there. Because again, just like that play earlier when Miami was running the football, Miami was able to break through that screen, but they missed the tackle. Instead of getting it to be about a 1-yard gain, they let him get the first down. Another quick snap. Brown throws it to the left, catches it on the way back. It's going to be probably about a 4-yard reception, 3-yard reception. I do like this. They're just going fast. I'm not against this. This is pretty solid right now. 2nd and 10? That shouldn't be 2nd and 10. Are they saying he didn't catch that? They might have to slow down here and get this reviewed or something. I'm shocked they didn't call it a catch. Are they going to show a replay? Maybe it was, replay will show, but at least on first viewing, it looked like he caught that ball. Well, they're saying he didn't catch it. So, it's 2nd and 10 for South Florida. 2 receivers on both sides of the ball now. Ball is snapped. Fake the pitch. It's a QB run, and he ends up pitching it in the end. Gets tackled, but he is able to get about 4 yards, make it about 3rd and 6. Smart decision there to pitch it. If he would have ran it, he would have gotten tackled immediately. He was able to get the pitch off, gain about 4 yards, but because he didn't get the catch in that first down, this is about 3rd and slightly over medium. You do really want this first down, and considering how early it is, honestly, if you get 5 yards, I'd arguably go for it if you're at 4th and 2 or less, just because you want to set a statement. Ball is snapped. Brown looks to the right, looks to the middle, throws it deep. He's going for it all. And, ooh, it is incomplete, and there is no flag. They're going to be forced to punt it here. That was a bold decision to go for the ball right there, but didn't make it, and so they're going to be forced to punt here. You could argue it was a bit underthrown. It wasn't the worst ball in the world, but wasn't able to get the reception. So 4th and 7, they're going to be forced to punt this 7.5 minutes. Again, Miami was able to eat up a ton of clock in their first drive. I do like South Florida going fast. Not getting that reception first down really hurt them, forcing them to go for a deep play. They didn't have to go for that deep a play, but, sometimes you have the home run ball, you go for it. Punt is up. It is a pretty good punt. It's going to be, goes out of bounds. Oh, they all calling it out of bounds. Pretty solid punt. It's going to be about they're calling it about the 14, 15-yard line. Really solid punt in the 20. Got to love it. Now we'll see if Miami can keep this up. Virginia had 700 yards of offense today. That's insane. No, Mats. I hate seeing this stuff about the Mats. Adrian Martinez is been upgraded to QB2. We love to see that. Good old Adrian Martinez, UFL mention. I just need to know if USF wins. What's up? Nope. I don't know. First opening drive did not look good for USF, but you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it still is early, but Miami was able to pretty much walk down the field, taking their sweet time, and USF trying to, just make plays quick. Was working, but if you're doing something like that, you need to pretty much be gaining roughly 2 to 5 yards every single play to set up that deep throw. But because they went for the deep shot on 3rd down, yes, it's less predictable than 2nd down, but you kind of need to get some first downs. You need to put up some points to put pressure on Miami. And now your defense really has to make a stop here. If Miami's able to have a 2-score lead, I don't know if USF can really come back from that this early. It still is early, but again, the game against Florida, they were able to hold Florida, I think it was 16 points. I don't know if they're going to be able to do something like that to Miami. And then when you're talking about Boise, they held Boise to 7 points. So if their defense can get a stop here, there is definitely still a chance. But if Miami is able to score a touchdown, it's going to be a tough ask for South Florida to pull off the comeback. But you never know. You do never know. I mean, it is college football. We've seen some big ones. We already saw a big upset today with Georgia Tech getting the last second, or the walk-off field goal, I should say, against Clemson. Wild ending that game. One of those upsets that people were predicted how it was going to happen, and then it happened, right? People saying it was going to be one of those where Georgia Tech's going to start off hot. They're going to get a couple scores or a score. They did. And then Clemson's going to come back. They did. And then Georgia Tech kept it close and was able to kick a walk-off field goal in a pretty low-scoring game, all things considered. But we'll see what happens with this one. 17.5-point underdogs. Remember, so at least if you pick South Florida to cover the spread, has to just be a 2-score game and you're fine, right? And hell, technically a 3-score game as long as you have the right math. It's 17 points, which you don't really see that often, but you never know. Let's see. Cincinnati tweeted again. Yeah, probably just more Sorsby having absurd stats. Just putting up those numbers. Showing Martin Gramatica, of course, Automatica. His son is on South Florida. Was able to kick that, I think it was a walk-off last week, so that was a pretty big deal. So you can pull it off again. Never know. Third Gramatica. I did not know there was 2 of them there. So he's the 3rd Gramatica at South Florida. Hometown of Tampa, playing for local Florida team. So Miami is backed up to the 15 from the solid punt. Beck is in shotgun. 3 receivers line up to his left. Running back is to his right. Ball is snapped. They hand it off, and he gets tackled for... Ooh, he's able to keep going. He's able to get 6 yards in the play. That's a really solid run by him. Looked like he was going to get about 3, maybe 4 yards. Instead, he just kept trucking. Was able to get 6 yards. Really solid first down rush for them, making it 2nd and 4. Wouldn't be shocked if they go for somewhat of a deep pass here, honestly. Because if you're Miami, you're probably viewing that you can easily get 4 yards on like a QB draw or an option play on 3rd down. So maybe you go for like a cross in the middle for like 20 yards or a deep shot. We'll see. 2nd and 4 in shotgun. 1 receiver lined up far on both sides, moving the one from the right to the left. Cutting back, ball is snapped. And there is a whistle. Flag. Is this false start? I would imagine it's false start or illegal formation probably, considering it blew the play dead. Yep, false start in Miami. So that's a big break for South Florida right there. Lose almost all the yards they gain. Now it's 2nd and 9. Now it changes things a bit. Now do you do another run play? Looked like they were going to do a run play at 2nd and 4. Do you just do the same thing or do you go for a legit pass? Makes it tougher. We'll see though. Second and 9, 6 minutes and 39 seconds left on the first quarter clock. Both teams still have 3 timeouts left. In shotgun, everybody's lined up close. They've got about 3 receivers lined up to the left side of the line. Ball is snapped. Looks to the right, looks to the left. Looks to the right in the middle. Throws a little dump off to the running back, who makes a move, breaks the tackle, then gets a hard hit. Going to be about a 4-yard, maybe 4.5-yard gain right there. Huge hit. Again, thanks to that false start, weren't able to get the first down there. It's going to be about 3rd and 4. Maybe if they give him a generous spot, it's going to be 3rd and 3, but probably 3rd and 4. We'll see what they end up doing here. If you're Miami, you want to get this. If you're South Florida, I mean, this is, joke is a big 3rd down, but this is a pretty big 3rd down. If you're able to get the ball back, you're able to play that field position battle. If you're able to get the ball after return around the 50-yard line, it'll be huge for them. But you got to get the stop here first. Motioning receiver from the left to the right. Running back is to the left of Beck. 2 receivers line up to the right, 2 to the left. Ball is snapped. It's going to be a pass. Looks to the right. Quick throw, and it is caught. Just caught him right in between a couple defenders. I get you don't want to be too risky, but you cannot let that wide open reception happen beyond the first down marker. Not a great play by South Florida's defense right there. So first down Miami. Under 5.5 minutes now in the first quarter. Now they're at the 27-yard line or 28-yard line. In between it, mainly the 28-yard line. 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the quarter. 3 receivers to the left, motioning 1 to the right. Hands it off once again. Breaks through the line, gets the first down, and then some. It's going to be about a 17-yard rush. They might even spot him 20 yards depending on when they call him down. Huge rush. He was able to break through the mosh pit up front and get a huge gain right there. Not good if you're South Florida. Again, the big thing that's been helping South Florida is the close games. The fact that they've been in close games week in and week out, these close, low-scoring games, has been the biggest benefit for them. If you're in a game where both teams score less than 25 points, it's really easy to get one of those wins from a last-second field goal, last-second touchdown. You do not want this to become a shootout. Shootout, you're probably not winning it. 1st and 10 for Carson Beck and the Miami Hurricanes. Motioning receiver from the left to the right. Ball is snapped. Looks in the middle of the field. Looks to the right. Throws a bit of a deep throw. It is incomplete. A bit of an overthrow, but still a solid one again. Old saying goes, you would rather throw an uncatchable ball or one that only a receiver can catch than one that's contested. If he would have thrown that, shorter pass, easily could have been intercepted right there. So honestly, a pretty solid throw from Beck. Not great, but not bad. And that was his first legit incompletion as well, which is not good if you're South Florida. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. A little bit over 4 minutes. We'll see what happens here. Again, at the 45-yard line, 2nd and 10. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, running back to the right as well in the backfield with Beck. Ball is snapped. They fake a handoff, then hand it off to the receiver, who breaks through, and he keeps going. He gets tripped up. He still gets the first down. Ends up gaining about 14 yards on the play right there. Really solid gain. Ball did come out, but even if it was a fumble, it went out of bounds anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Solid play for Miami right there. Again, they just weren't able to get him. They were just a little bit off getting a tackle on him. Could have gotten him for only a 4-yard gain. Instead, he gets about a 14-yard gain. So 1st and 10 for Miami. They are once again in USF territory. Beck is in shotgun. Multiple receivers to his left. Looks like 1 to his right. Running back is also to his left. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Goes just right through. And he's able to get tackled forward for about a 4.5-yard gain. Not looking good for South Florida's defense right now. Not at all. Showing the Josh Dobbs right now for the NFL. That's a wild tweet to put out. 2nd and 7. Beck throws it. It's a deep shot to the left. Incomplete. Yeah, I agree with there being no flag. Would have been pass interference had that actually been a catchable ball. It was way overthrown, so that was definitely the right call to hold the flag. Yeah, I've been checking the score, man. Cincinnati's just pwning them. I do not want to get my hopes up just for them to blow it like they did last year. When I streamed that Buffalo game, them against Colorado, they were at I think 5-2. They needed 1 win, or maybe 5-3. They needed 1 win to make a bowl game, and they controlled their own destiny to make the playoffs. Technically, I knew they were going to make the playoffs, but technically they could have, and they just went winless. So don't want to get my hopes up. 3rd and 7, motioning receiver from the right to the left. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ball is snapped. Looks to the left side of the field, looks to the middle, throws it left. It's a deep shot. He's almost open. It is caught. He was able, that's a grown man catch. Was able to catch it. That was a bit of an underthrown ball, actually. I mean, he had his man completely beat and the safety beat, but he had to kind of slow down a little bit to get that ball. Was able to catch it, and even with a defender in his face trying to draw that ball loose, he was able to catch it. Insane touchdown reception right there for him. 13-0 Miami over South Florida. Just stomping them so far. It is still early, but like I said earlier, a 2-score game this early for South Florida is not what they want to be dealing with. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Again, another 4+ minute drive for Miami as well. They're just eating up this clock as well. If they're not getting any incompletions, the clock's not stopping. Kick is up, and it is good once again. 14-zip Miami over South Florida. That's just such a good catch. Just show the replay again. I mean, if you're a DB, you almost cannot put your arm in a better place in between both his arms and the football, and he just wasn't able to draw it loose. That is the definition of a grown man catch right there. Incredible reception, massive touchdown for him. Let's see, what is trending right now? Clemson is still number 1. Oh, that's not what you want to see. Yeah, that was some really, really funny for sure right there. That was a game right there. Wow, they already released Andrade. That's hilarious. I was about to look up, what has South Carolina done? Or are they not playing this week? Oh, they are. They're playing today against Vanderbilt. Okay. That's a team I really think has a good shot this year to do something. I don't think this is a team that's going to be a championship contender like some people might think. But I think this is a team that easily could make the second round. Maybe they make it to the third round, you know. Wait, hold up. Let me make sure I'm not gaslighting myself. Yeah, the third round, you know, like the semifinal. I really wouldn't be that shocked if they make the Final Four. I don't think they're going to win it. I think that when you look at them last year, right, last year they arguably should have been in the playoffs. Like, everybody's talking about, like, Ole Miss and Bama should have made it over SMU, and I was sitting here like, South Carolina really should have. Like, their last win against Clemson was a really good win to get, and then with Clemson getting the win over SMU, if I'm not mistaken, in the championship, it made the win look even better, and they still didn't make the playoffs. And it's going to be tough because their end of the season is a gauntlet. I mean, LSU, Oklahoma, Bama, Ole Miss, A&M, Coastal, and then Clemson. I think there's a shot that the Gamecocks can make a run. It's not going to be an insane run, but I think that they have a really good shot at making at least somewhat of a push. I just can't see them doing that bad. You know what I mean? And make it 55-0. Oh my goodness. Cincinnati is just clowning them. Absolutely insane stuff right now. This is just wild for sure. I mean, that is definitely a game. That's for sure. That's insane. All this just to blow it like in 2 weeks. They play Kansas and Iowa State. Yeah, they're gonna lose. I feel like they might lose both those games, honestly. I really do feel like they're gonna lose like both those games. I mean, they're one in both those teams are part of it, really? How are they 1-1? They only have like 2 games. Okay, whatever. I think I may have been looking at the wrong thing, whatever. Just such a good cut touchdown. They're showing the replay again. It's such a good touchdown. Like, that is a perfect reception right there. Because, like I said, objectively, that was a weaker throw by Beck. He could have thrown that 5 yards deep. Or not 5, but probably... Yeah, he could have thrown it 5 yards deeper, and it would have been just a free touchdown. And it was just a great reception. Kick is up. It is going to be another touchback. South Florida, man, they got to get some points on the board here. 17.5-point underdogs. You do not want to lose the spread. As long as you keep it within the spread, you still have some legitimate hope as a group of 5 team, obviously. But yeah. Why did the Panthers stink so bad? Bryce Young. I watched Bryce Young play a lot in college. Watched a lot of Bama those years. I never bought he was the clear best quarterback hype. And I think that it's part. I know that with Baker Mayfield looking so good now, it makes the Panthers look like a bad organization. Passes thrown by Brown. It is going to be about a 4-yard reception for progress. I understand that. Bottom line is Bryce Young, even when he was playing good last year, he really wasn't that good. It's like if you have let's say a golfer misses the cut every single match. Passes thrown, it's a bit too short and it's incomplete. You have a golfer misses the cut every single event. And then he starts making the cut at 50th or 75th, depending on how you make the cut, and he's finishing dead last. He went from being a golfer that can't make the cut to being the worst golfer that makes the cut. That was kind of Bryce Young. He went from being like the worst QB in the league to being like the 5th worst QB in the league. But because it was such an upgrade, people gaslit themselves into believing he's this great quarterback. He hasn't shown at all that he is that. Even at Bama, I really never bought that he was that good. Even for college. Like, I know he was a Heisman winner, but even the Heisman winner was like, I don't know. Brown runs to the left. He's got to throw this for a first down. It's a deep throw over the middle. It is caught. He beat his man up to the 30-yard line and goes tackled inbounds for a massive reception. Brown, that was a wobbly pass that he had to just throw out there because he had guys right on him. Incredible throw and a beautiful catch, and they're still trying to get this ball snapped relatively quick. This is what you want to see if you're a USF fan. That was a huge gain. They're at the 29-yard line in Miami territory. They hand it off, and they end up getting another 2 yards on the play. They're in field goal range. Incredible play right there from Brown and USF. But yeah, I mean, the Panthers, drafting Ted McMillan was a really bad look for the team. It made the Xavier Legette pick look worse, especially since he really didn't look that good in week 1. And the fact that they still are not getting a legit tight end. Like, I do not think Tommy Tremble is that guy at tight end. They should have gotten Jalen Warren, and they didn't. And through 1 week, it has not looked like a good call. Getting rid of the farm for Bryce Young, you got rid of your best receiver, DJ Moore, and multiple firsts for Bryce Young. Like, he's not that guy for worth it. It's going to be a handoff for Brown, and he trips and falls down. That is not what you want to see. Number 1, they gave him a pretty bad spot in the first down rush, and then number 2, he just kind of trips right there. It's going to be 3rd and long. They are in field goal range. You cannot take a sack here, but you really were hoping for a touchdown here, and now you're just playing to not really lose any yards. 2 receivers to the right, hand off the ball, just trying to gain some yards, and it's about a 2.5-yard gain. The biggest issue with this is the fact that, yes, I do like the idea of doing this fast-paced offense if you're getting stops on defense. Because now Miami's going to be able to just tire out this USF offense. I mean, USF has barely had the ball on offense. Miami has, I believe it's about 10 minutes of time possession in the first quarter compared to South Florida's 5. And you just immediately ran play after play right there, even after getting the long gain. So now you're really out-tiring your own defense instead of the opposing defense, which isn't good. Looked like they were about to fake it. Yeah, it looked like they were about to fake it, but I think Miami just called a timeout. I would just kick the field goal here. I would try and take the points here. You just were able to get Miami to bite and call a timeout. They now kind of have the feel you're going to go for it. So if you're going to go for it, you kind of have to. But because you didn't gain that many on the rush, I would just kick the field goal here. Try to get some points on the board, make it 14-3, and hope that you can get a 3-and-out or at least like a 3-and-out in the second play or something like that. Because if you're South Florida and you let Miami have another 5+ minute drive, I'd say it's pretty much over. Almost down the center. It is 14-3. South Florida gets some points on the board. So what you wanted to see if you're a South Florida fan is at least some form of scoring. It's still not great. You really wanted to, after that massive throw and catch, you really, really wanted to get a touchdown, but at least you got some points on the board. You know what I mean? So you'll take that. That's for sure. Let's see what's happening on Twitter now. Any new posts? 56 here at the end of the first half. That's such an insane score. All this to get pwned by Iowa State in 2 weeks. Life of a Bearcats fan. We had our year, or really 2 years. Should have beat Georgia in that Peach Bowl, but hey, bad coaching cost us. Kick is up, and it is a touchback. So we'll see if Miami once again have another good drive. Again, so far Miami just had back-to-back great drives, taking up a ton of time on the clock. And we got a NASCAR race today, because one of the playoff races is today for some reason instead of tomorrow. I forgot about that. So we have so much going on today. Really wild. You got like NASCAR, you got boxing, you got UFC on today, college football, baseball, and there's probably other things I'm even forgetting about. It's wild how much sports we got going on right now. Let's see what Miami can do. They're going to have one play before this quarter ends, I would imagine probably going to just run it here to try and get the, clock down, eat up the first quarter. You kind of just want to keep going. You just want to eat up clock here if you're Miami. Do what you've been doing really well, which is time possession. Winning the time possession battle is such a crucial thing. 2 receivers to the left, motion 1 from the left to the right, hand the ball off, and it's about a 3.5, 4-yard gain. Not surprised. They're just going to let the clock go out and head to the second quarter up 14-3. Again, you need to stop your South Florida. You cannot let Miami keep scoring, especially because of the fact that if they're able to, what they're going to try and do is snowball this game. Essentially what they're going to try to do is snowball is they're going to keep trying to get these 5+ minute drives. Especially with South Florida playing this fast-paced, high-tempo offense, it means that the defense for South Florida is going to be out on the field for an eternity. And yes, they are giving them a bit of breathing time in between plays, but as we all know with football, the longer you're out there actually playing, the worse it feels, the worse it is. So if you're able to have another 5-minute drive, have basically back-to-back-to-back 5+ minute drives, whereas South Florida's offense is averaging about 2.5 minutes per drive, you're going to just make it worse and worse and worse to the point where later on in the second half, you could potentially just hand the ball off play after play after play because of how tired the Miami or the South Florida defense is, and then keep it going to where in like the fourth quarter, it's just a wrap. That's a large reason why I said that Florida really needed to score in that first drive that they had. Because if you're having to play from behind with a tired defense and they're going to be running the ball down your throat, Marshawn Lynch style, where they're just running over and over and over again, it's going to be rough for you. But we'll see. South Florida can get a stop here and get the ball back. You get a touchdown, it's a 4-point game. If you go for 2 for some reason, it's a 3-point game. It's a field goal game. Right back in it. But if I'm South Florida, I'm debating on playing a bit slower on my next drive, just try and get the defense some gas back in the tank for them, instead of this high-tempo, fast-paced offense. Especially when you get the deep play, and then you still don't get a touchdown. It's got to feel rough for your defender watching that big play, and then nothing really comes out of it for you. Now let's see, while we're in commercial break, what are some of the scores going around right here? Obviously, we have the big Tennessee versus Georgia game. It is 21-17 with a minute and a half left in the second quarter. Big score right there. Iowa State is up 9-3 over AR State. Texas is winning over UTEP. The Texas Tech game is still delayed. Penn State is crushing Villanova right now, and that's all the games currently on. And then tonight we have the Ohio game, Ohio versus Ohio State, Ole Miss versus Arkansas, Illinois versus WMU, LSU, Florida. That's a big game, but it's nothing compared to the A&M Notre Dame game. Vanderbilt versus South Carolina. That should be a good game. I'd probably rather watch that one than than Florida LSU, honestly, just because I'd watch Lenore Sellers in South Carolina. Then you've got Utah versus Wyoming. So we've got all those games going on tonight, which we'll see what ends up happening in this game, because this game could really change a lot of these overall stats, if or rankings, if somehow by some miracle, let's say that they're able to pull off the upset. If South Florida pulls off the upset, they're going to go so high in the rankings, it's going to be insane. They're going to have to jump a lot, especially if Notre Dame gets the win. If Notre Dame gets the win, right, and then Miami loses, it's just going to spike it so much. It's going to be wild. But we'll see. We still got, a lot of game left here, but never know. Lenore Sellers. We'll see. Go to Sellers. Let's see what else is on trend is being posted. Seeing if there's any other big, massive scores coming out. Not seeing anything else. I mean, again, Cincinnati just obliterating their opponent right now. Showing Michael Irvin, Hall of Famer right there. Warren Sapp, Hall of Famer, currently on Colorado as a coach. Ray Lewis, another Hall of Famer. Ed Reed, another Hall of Famer, just this insane. Miami, man, back in the day, they were something else. They're like 2001 Miami team. What a good team. Like, when you're like 10th best player was like an NFL like All-Pro, I'm pretty sure, a Pro Bowler, that's wild. So Miami's going to get the ball here to start this half, or start this quarter at about the 27-yard line. They are in 2nd and 7. Didn't get the best spot in the first down, so that's good for South Florida. Ball is snapped. They hand it off again, and they're able to get pressure and take him down before he gets to the line of scrimmage. That's what you need if you're South Florida. That's a huge play right there. You just stop them from gaining anything. In fact, they may have lost half a yard, but at worst, it's still going to be 3rd and 7. You can stop them here and get the ball back and score again. Any score makes it a one-score game. That is huge if you're South Florida. Mass play by defense, but you got to get another one. If you don't get the stop here, Miami is probably going to go down the field and get at least a field goal, I would imagine. They got one running back to the right and one to the left. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Might be an option play here. That looks like he might be calling an audible here, going back. Ball is snapped. It's a pass. He's looking to the left side of the field, looking to the right. He's rolling out to his right. He's getting pressured. He evades, and he gets sacked. It's going to be about a 4-yard loss for Miami, but there is a flag. Let's see what this flag is. You would hope it's holding if you're South Florida, especially the way they're celebrating, but let's see. Yep, holding on the offense. You decline that penalty. That is what I was talking about. Massive, massive play for South Florida. They were able to get the sack, force a punt here, get that defense off the field, let them get some legitimate rest, and now South Florida has a shot to do something here. If they can get a score, especially a touchdown, we're talking about a real game again. Massive, massive back-to-back plays for South Florida again. I alluded to it earlier. Earlier in that first quarter, you had that one time where they were able to break through the offensive line. They just weren't able to get the tackle. That right there, those back-to-back plays, really good if you're South Florida. Punt is up. They got somewhat close to blocking it. Going to be returned at about the 25-yard line, and it's a fair catch. Really solid punt, considering how far back he was pinned. So let's see if South Florida can do something on this drive. Again, Byron Brown was able to get a couple big wins. Can he get a third one? We'll see. Got to get some sort of score here. Again, so far, South Florida's offense has had that one really good play. The rest of the game has been just kind of okay right now. But we'll see. The Mets, man. I hate seeing Mets stuff on my timeline because it just makes me think about how this team's going to somehow miss the playoffs. Like, for no reason. Just because they keep choking. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Let's look up this real quick. News, recent, past week. Gone. Oh, can we pull that back up? There we go. You know, sometimes, like, I'm trying to click back on my Miami, South Florida ESPN score, and it's just not pulling up, but whatever. Good old Bear ads. Some of these ads are so wild. South Florida. You know, while we're in this commercial break this time, let's actually look at some of the stats, like the legitimate stats for this game real quick. Box score. So far, Carson back, again, really solid. 8 of 10 for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, that Joshua Moore's been looking really good so far. I mean, that big grown man catch was insane that he had. He's got 2 TDs. So far, in terms of sacks, he got 1 sack in the game. That was a huge sack that Mac was able to just get. Again, punting so far, really solid punts from both guys, 45-plus yard punts. Byron Brown has the one long 43-yard reception. Aside from that, it's been looking really rough for him, but yeah. And let's go back to our little game cast now. I'm still shocked Bryce came and played so close, like he regressed to this time last year. Well, mistake-wise. You know, I feel like part of the issue with Bryce, at the end of the day, like, when you look at him versus Kyler Murray, even if they're allegedly the same exact height and size pretty much, when you look at Kyler, you look at a guy that feels stocky. Like, he feels like big for his height, whereas Bryce just looks like a small guy. And that is part of the problem. You have a guy that, you know, when he gets sacked, even if he doesn't show that he's hurt, it's going to affect him more than like a Kyler Murray. In terms of seeing over the O-line, right? Offensive linemen, usually tall guys. Even when they're hunched over, they're still really tall. If a guy's 6'7", and he's hunched down to where he's losing about a foot, he's still 5'7". If your quarterback's barely 3 inches taller than that, allegedly 3 inches, probably 2, doesn't look good for him, you know what I mean? And they've been getting him receivers. They drafted first-round receivers in back-to-back years, so at some point it's like, look, you may have had Baker Mayfield play really well, but with Sam Darnold, I've said it before, the Vikings receivers made Darnold look that good. Baker Mayfield legitimately is good. Sam, it was his receivers made him look good. We kind of saw that in week 1 with the Seahawks as well. So when you look at it, at some point you got to say, you know what? It's probably Bryce's fault the team isn't that good. Oh, we are not. Inclement weather, lightning 8 miles away. This is so cringe. Oh my god, another lightning delay. Like, dude, we need to stop, bro. I'm sorry. Like, we do not need a lightning delay every 2 games. Lightning delay again. This is wild. This is what you hate seeing. Another lightning delay. Oh, man. Well, we got the lightning delay going on right now, so... And who knows how long it's going to last. Because, if this lightning delay lasts like half an hour, probably just end the stream. But I don't know. We'll see. This is just... I hate things. I really hate these lightning delay stuff. I think it's just, at some point... Like, I have not seen... lightning hit the stadium in so long, if I've ever even seen a clip of that. And so if it's never actually happening, then, like, why? I don't know. It's probably, like, stuff like suing culture. Like, probably if you get, like, you know, if you just so happen to be struck by lightning during, like, a lightning storm, you can get sued, right? If you're, like, the stadium, I would imagine. Right? It's like how all these ads make these, like, basic stuff. Like, when you're seeing those ads saying, like, oh, you know, this product that is a hot product is hot. Yeah, of course it is, but you have that one person that, you know, sued McDonald's for getting hot coffee spilled on her because she didn't know it was hot, but I don't know. Well, what do we do here? I guess we can put on the other big game unless it's in halftime, which then we can't. It is in halftime. That's awesome. So we got that game in half. Is Purdue in half? Wait, is it Purdue? I think it's Purdue is playing, or it's Villanova. Yeah, that game's delayed. Bruh. I mean, every game is delayed. Oh, this is great. So it's either we put on halftime, L in the chat, agree. So we've either got to do a delay, like, oh man. You know what? I guess if this is, because I mean, I don't think there's any other games that have, okay, there's like 4 games going on right now on TV, I believe. What's on here? Well, no, I know this game's delayed. Yeah, that game's delayed. This game, I think, is in halftime that I'm putting on. Yep, that's in delay. And is this one in delay? I guess so. Oh, great. So, like, every game that's on TV is either in delay. It's either in delay or it's... Oh, this is so bad. God, I hate delays for football. That's because of lightning. It's so stupid. Like, it's the weather. It happens. Boo-hoo. Like, the odds you actually can struck by lightning are incredibly small. Another delay. Love it. Yeah, I think we might do a... I don't know, we might do something different. There's a lot we could do. Could do a Sporkle college quiz or something like that. I don't know. I'm personally running on Patience, or is it on Bryce, or is it the OC? I would say it's Bryce. Like, he is in the 3rd year. You brought in a head coach that... Why is this light purple? You brought in a head coach that is explicitly, you know, an offensive guy. So you brought in an offensive head coach, and if the offense still sucks, and you have added receivers, you've added offensive line, you've added receivers, you know, when there's a common denominator, is what I like to say. When there's a common denominator for a problem that has been there for years, at some point, it's that guy's fault. If you're going to put the blame game on somebody, it's that guy's fault. Dropped a piece of something. Like, In first year, you blamed it on the head coach. You fired him. You added another head coach. That's another offensive-minded head coach. You drafted a receiver in the first round. 40-minute break. My God. I don't know. We'll debate. We're going to keep this up because that's going to be at least a 40-minute break. And then the game's going to come back on. Man, I don't know if I'm in the mood for a 5-hour stream. But you got receivers. You drafted Leggett. You just signed like 4 linemen between the last 2 seasons. So like, and even remember last year, I think statistically the Panthers O-line was called bad, was actually good. You know what I mean? Like it was actually a good O-line statistically. Yeah, I think it was him. Caleb's was the one that I think they both sucked. Like Caleb sucked in the offensive line stuff. But Bryce I think actually was technically good, but yeah. Yeah, I would imagine it's got to be something like suing culture. Like, if you don't do this and someone does just so happen to be struck by lightning, they can sue for probably like $50 million or something stupid like that. But even if it does go back, it is still going to be a 40-minute delay. I don't know. We'll see. If it's still delayed at like 5:45, I'll probably just end up doing something random for like another 15-20 minutes and then ending the stream just because of that. I don't know, because, I mean, the last lightning delay we did, well, we did the one for the Battlehawks game, and there may have been one other one we did, but I don't think so. I don't know. Baker, I feel like, was legitimately the team's fault. Like, people are trying to act like what's wrong with Bryce is the same that was wrong with Baker. I don't think that's the case fully. Because with Baker, that was a pretty rough lineup we had. It was pretty much DJ Moore. Because that was after we let go of Cam. We traded CMC, or it might have still been there, but he was probably hurt that year. And it was like every quarterback we played looked bad. Like, if you have like 4 different quarterbacks and they all look pretty bad, and like PJ Walker's your best one, it's probably because your team sucks. So that one, I think, is a bit more understandable. Because I think a lot of it is Baker had to find a team that really worked with him. Because the thing with Baker, a lot of it seems to be mentally. Like, it's a mental game with Baker. If he's on a team that fits how he views football and plays it, like the Buccaneers, it just works really well. Like, the 2 years that he was really good with the Browns, there was like 2 years where he was really solid. His rookie year and the year they made the playoffs. Those were 2 years the Browns were kind of that underdog, solid mentality. Because even with the Buccaneers, people are still doubting this team. Like, the Buccaneers should be viewed as a legit secondary Super Bowl team. And what I mean by that is, they're not the Eagles, they're not the Chiefs, they're not the Ravens, not the Bills. But that secondary tier of teams, like the Packers, like the Vikings and Lions last year, they should be viewed like that. They've been consistently winning their division. They still have a great defense. They still have a great offense. But they're not. And people still are saying, like, oh, the Falcons can easily win this division. So, like, the Buccaneers are still an underdog, despite winning their division year in and year out, which fits Baker, whereas the Panthers just sucked. They weren't like an underdog, they just sucked. You know what I mean? But with Bryce, I think it is Bryce. And with Darnold, I don't buy that. Darnold has not proven to me that he is a great quarterback. Because it's the whole reason I picked, in my community members video, I picked the Vikings to win the division this year. And I said it was because JJ just had to be a mediocre quarterback, and that receiving core would do the rest. They added Adam Thielen. They already have Jay Jettas. They already have multiple other great receivers. Jordan Addison, who's suspended. That's why they got Thielen. TJ Hawkinson. So if you're the Vikings, you have a great receiving core. So yeah, Darnold looked really good with that core because that core was incredible. Kirk Cousins looked really good because he had that great receiving core. So when people suggest that, oh, it's not Bryce because look at Darnold, Darnold hasn't been great. His best year as a pro was the 1 year he happened to be surrounded with elite receivers and line. Lots of good QBs not in NFL rosters. What would be nice to see Emory Jones go back to the UFL. Honestly, like, I watched him in college. For how much I dislike Sorsby sometimes, Sorsby to me has been the best QB that Cincinnati has had since Ritter. So, like, I would put it like probably Ritter, Sorsby, Jones, Bryant. I really did not like the Ben Bryant Cincinnati experiment. Those like 2 years. And Emory Jones wasn't great, but I thought he was better. But Sorsby's definitely the better of those guys. But I would agree, I'd like to see him go to the UFL. He's one of those guys I'd really like to see to go to the UFL. Is definitely Emory Jones, just some sort of UFL quarterback. I mean, hell, like half of the quarterbacks in 2022 honestly could. I would love to see Ritter go there. I don't know if he's gonna, what his deal is, because I know he was debating on retiring, and then, you know, when he did get called, it was like super late and all that. So I don't know the deal with him and all that. You know, it is a tough call. Let's see. News recent. Falcons QBs. Okay. The Panthers. I can't wait for us to lose this weekend. I really do got a feeling we're going to lose to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to be better than people thought this year. Like, the Cardinals, for some reason, I've got this, like, this sixth sense that just has a feeling that somehow the Cardinals, through being the only team that doesn't F up, are going to win the division. I don't know why. I got this feeling that, like, Stafford is going to get hurt at some point. The Niners are going to just be too hurt, or Purdy's going to show that he's not a great quarterback. He's just a good quarterback. And the Seahawks, getting rid of Geno was a terrible decision. And somehow the Cardinals are going to, like, fall. They're going to, like, just like their old coach, right, Kingsbury. They're going to fail upward. They're going to do nothing to deserve it and make the playoffs, winning the division, and hell, maybe even pull off a shocking upset. I just got that feeling. Like, the NFC West this year is playing the AFC South. You could easily go 3-1 in that division. I mean, if you legitimately view yourself as a good team, the Titans should be a win, the Jaguars should be a win, and you should go 1-1 against the Colts and Texans, if not 2-0. You could easily go 4-0. If you go 3-1 there, that's 3 wins automatically. Snap your fingers, 3-1. You're playing the NFC South, who would be the weakest NFC division, besides the NFC West in my book. In that division, you could easily go 2-2 or even 3-1 by beating, again, the Falcons or Buccaneers. That's 6-2. If you go 6-2 right there, you realistically, to win the NFC West, probably need like 3 or 4 more wins. And again, if the injuries get worse for the Niners, you beat them once. If you go 1-1 against all your divisional opponents, at worst you finish 9-8 in theory. That could win that division. I mean, it really could. You could definitely win that division at 9-8. And let's see, your other opponents are the Packers. You probably lose that one. The Cowboys literally could be anything, and the Bengals also could be anything. So if you go 1-2 against your 3 like non-divisional matchups, you finish 10-7. I think Cardinals have a realistic shot at making the playoffs. I think they got a good shot at it. Like, if Stafford goes down, and if the Niners keep getting hurt like they are, I think the Cardinals are almost a lock. Not a lock, but I got a really good feeling to make the playoffs. Like, if I were to get into sports betting, that'd be a bet I would have done like yesterday. I would have bet they make the playoffs. Put like, $10-20 on it. But I don't sports bet, and I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah. Darnold arm was 2 weeks, still 2 week. I mean, let's look at last year's Vikings team. Or let's look at Darnold last year. So Sam Darnold last year. Week 1 this year against a pretty injured 49ers team went 150 yards at 87 rating. That's nothing, and that still has a good receiving core, but not as good. In 2024 with the Vikings, he was 10th in MVP voting. That's diabolical. He had a 66 completion percentage. That's solid. 35 TDs to 12 interceptions. But when you go to that specific team, you'll see that you had on that team Jay Jetta, 1,500 yards. Jordan Addison, not even 900. T.J. Hawkinson didn't even have 500, but still had a lot. And Aaron Jones. That's a pretty damn good trio of guys. And then even Jalen Naylor still had a good amount of yards. So you got an incredible receiving core. And then when you go to 2025 and look at the Vikings in week 1, Adam Thielen still played, and Adam Thielen last year, I believe, had almost 1,000 yards, if not 1,000 last year, right? Oh, he had 6. Oh, that's right. He got hurt. Last year he had 615, and that was despite only playing in 10 games. could have had 1,000 yards. Probably wouldn't have gotten it. I don't think he was on pace, but could have. Darnold, I don't know. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think Darnold is that guy in my book, honestly. Hate to say it, but I don't know. Let's see. First half stats, 400. Cincinnati had 450 yards in the first half. That is insane. So let's look at Miami. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins are gonna suck. That's definitely pretty bad right there. Okay, so I'm not getting what I actually want to look up. Thank you, Twitter, for not showing me what I want to see. But yeah. Good old Cincinnati. Okay, so let's do some fun stuff. Kind of want to do some fun little quizzes. Let's do... I have an idea. Wow, I did not do that. Okay. NFL starting quarterbacks. Oh, God. No, I'm not even doing that. I don't know. Oh, they're all saying... So far, it is all but guaranteed that the Roughnecks and the Stallions are staying. And it's all but guaranteed the Showboats are gone. From what has been officially said and what has been read between the lines, it is a matter of the Panthers being a legitimate question mark. That's what it's come down to. The Stallions have already been announced that they're staying. The Roughnecks, considering what they've had already happen with the job applications coming up, right? Boo, job application. They look to be staying. Showboats would be stunned if they stay. So it really does look like it's a matter... Because remember, they have Orlando in their back pocket. So it really feels like, to me, that Louisville or Orlando will get the Panthers if the Panthers do move, but they're trying to keep them. And what it seems like is they're trying to figure out, will they get a good deal from DCFC's stadium, Alumni Field, when it gets done? Will it be done by 2027? If so, they're going to go back to Ford Field for a year and then go there in 27. I've said before, they should go to EMU. It's going to be a shit ton cheaper. It's going to be a far better place to go for the finance point of it. You're close to Detroit. You're not in Detroit, but you're close to it compared to other places. You're at a smaller stadium, and you can go there for 2 years if you have to. Seems like they don't want to. That sucks, is what it is. But it doesn't look like they want to because of the great turf, and they want to be in Detroit and stay in Detroit, so I'll have to see about that. Now, is the UFL getting more teams? For the first time officially, we've heard stuff about that. Mike Rapol made it very clear that he said that the plan is 2028. They're adding 2 teams. I would have hoped 2027 because that, to me, feels like they might relocate again in 27, which I think is a bad call. I think it should expand in 27. But that's what it looks like, is they're going to expand in 27. And judging from the reports, things have been said, it seems that it would probably be Louisville, Boise would be the 2 clear front runners for an expansion team in 2027, with other places being a possibility. Also, Seattle will be a legit possibility at that point as well, because there's already been talks with Seattle in the past. So it'd probably be one of those 2 of those 3 places. New Orleans is always one that should be viewed, but yeah, 2028 is when expansion is supposed to happen. Will it? We'll see, but this is what the plan is. That's the plan at least. Never know, though. Let's see. Who has won the UFC fight? Does the main event happen yet? No. Oh, it starts at 6 o'clock. I don't even know. Kevin Gastelum, what a joke. Bro missed weight again. I know some of you are going to say it's mean to say it, but it's true. I'm not a MMA savant, But at the end of the day, like, some of these fighters need to learn, like, you have a natural weight, just fight in the natural weight. It's so aggravating watching these fighters. Because, like, for those of you who don't know what happens in the UFC, what ends up happening is these fighters will be like, they'll walk around, like, their actual, honest-to-God weight is, like, 185. And they'll try to push it to fight at 165. Because once you get weighed in, which is like a couple days before the fight, you can then just eat and get the weight back. To where you're fighting a 165 fight at like 180 or 175. So you're not actually fighting in the weight you're supposed to. So when you see all these missed weights, it's not because these guys are lazy or not because they're training, it's because they're not actually fighting where they're supposed to. Like, sometimes you're just naturally a 165er, you're a natural 185er, you're a natural 205er. And you don't fight there, and it's tough. And it's just so stupid. Like, you see somebody like Tom Aspinall, he keeps eating healthy. He basically just stays at his weight for the most part. He might gain some pounds at the end. But, like, when you see clips of him or see him doing stuff, he's not just, you know, like Paddy the Fatty, right? As everybody likes to joke about how he, like, walks around like 30 pounds heavier than he should. Because, like, somebody like Alex Pereira, there are some guys that can do it. Alex Pereira is one that clearly can do it. Like, he is somebody that, when you look at him, when he's fighting at light heavyweight, could be fighting at heavyweight, or welterweight, I believe. No, not welterweight. What's it called? Lightweight? I always forget the one that's under that. UFC, I think it's welterweight. UFC, Alex Pereira. Middleweight, my bad. So, like, when you saw him fight at middleweight, he looked a little bit smaller, but not the worst. So, like, with him, I get it. But with most fighters, like, dude, if you're missing weight twice, you're the problem. You're making a conscious decision that is idiotic and that can get you fired. Because Dana White, one thing he hates more than almost anything else is an unreliable fighter. Unless it's John Jones up until the last 2 months. And we just saw things like Byron Battle got cut because he missed weight. Kevin Gastelum, his ass is getting cut. It's like his 5th missed weight. Like, sometimes, just fight at your natural weight. Just do it, but whatever. Thanks, Zomb, top tier analyst as usual. I hope the UFL keeps Panthers. It'd be really stupid to get rid of him. I've talked about it before. Objectively, from the info that we have public, they were the 2nd best market in the league. They were the only market, aside from St. Louis, that was top 3 in attendance growth. In fact, they might be the only one. I don't know technically where St. Louis would have gone in attendance growth because that would be by percentage. It might be top 3, might not. If not, then they were the only team top 3 in those. Actual TV rating and estimated individuals watching. Only team that was for potentially all 4 of them. Yet, moving him would just be such a catastrophic decision for the league. But, I don't know. 63-0 Cincinnati. Wow, they just are speedrunning that quarter. That's insane. Well, we'll see. A lot of sports stuff going on. A lot of things to talk about. We've got the boxing event going on tonight. Obviously, Canelo Alvarez. This is literally going to be the first legit boxing fight I've watched. I never watched boxing because, like, I never wanted to pay a ton of money to do it. Molly McCann got a W. Molly Meatball. Ilya Taporia starting his Conor McGregor arc, continuing it, trying to call out Crawford, which is hilarious that he's actually, like, suggesting that he could fight Crawford in boxing. I would love that to be a fight. He's so fan. That would be great. But you never know. Play is supposed to resume at 6:05, so that's good. We can get this game back on rolling. So we just gotta kind of eat up like 20 minutes or something, so. Could be worse, Still know they got a delay, because now this game's gonna, like, not end for late unless they do something like. I don't remember how they rule with halftime. I think they still do normal halftime. I don't know if they do, like, a shortened halftime because of the break. I hope they do. But speaking of this from a pure overall block standpoint. Or not block, but time standpoint. So, what's important to remember is where we left off. So, we left off, right? The actual play we just left off on was Miami punting the ball. So, Miami punted the ball, Florida got it. Now, when Florida got it, they had momentum. So the team that had momentum is just kind of losing it a bit. That's bad. But the good part about it for Florida is that their defense was still on the field for a ton of time in the first quarter. In terms of which defense is more tired, the answer was Florida. Yes, they got the big stop. They were still more tired. So, while you do lose the momentum you had, you do gain your defense getting better. So that is in itself a huge gain if you're Florida, so you gladly take that. Now, will it truly matter? Tough question. Could not. But it is something to keep note of, the fact that you have that benefit for them. It is a good thing, but yeah. Now, because we are want them out, let me see. I think I spelled something. I think I just hit something wrong. I don't think so. I think it might be released though. Oh no, I think he's still playing, but yeah. Mid-ass players this offseason. They were a top tier. Yeah, I mean they got like the O linemen they paid a ton of money for, the ones they did get, and it's like, bruh. Like sometimes you don't like, I don't know. I just Panthers, man. They're a team that just is built to piss you off. That's how I view it. While the game resumes at 6:05, the other game has come back on, so if I get the channel right, we can watch the Georgia-Tennessee game for a little bit. I don't know what I just put on, but that is not Tennessee. I don't know why my light just turned teal for some reason. Alright, so let's see. Georgia hands off the ball, cut to the right, keep going. It's about a 5-6 yard gain for them right there. Pretty big gain for them. And we're going to go over here. Going to hit the game cast for the Georgia-Tennessee game. So again, that's the one that we're kind of, stuck watching for a little bit. I say stuck watching. It's still a really good game. 21-17. Tennessee over Georgia. See what you can do. Cincinnati's just demolishing him. Oh my god, already halfway through the fourth quarter. They're just like kneeling the ball basically at this point. So let's see what happens here. 2nd and 4 for the Georgia Bulldogs. Ball is snapped, handed off, and they're going to be tackled at the line of scrimmage for about a 0 yard gain right there. Really solid play for Tennessee's defense. Big play for them right there. Buccaneers Texans. Monday Night Football should be good. I think that's going to be a really good game. I think that's a game people are sleeping on. Buccaneers Texans. It's going to be one of the best games of the weekend, I think. Because it's one of those games that's really going to show like how legit can these two teams be this season. I predict Buccaneers are going to win the game, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Texans win because I don't remember. I think they lost in week 1 to who they played, but yeah. Notre Dame is a 6.5 point favorite. Kind of shocked that the spread isn't more on either side. Like I thought it would be like either like 3.5 or more. I guess it makes sense. Run up the middle, they just get a huge hole and massive like 15 yard gain right there. Tennessee just didn't expect to run up the middle right there. All their D linemen just kind of converged, or not converged, they diverged outward. It was just a free one. Like, they kind of thought it was a counter right there is what it looks like. They thought it was going to be a counter run. Instead, it was just basically a borderline dive in a lot of ways. Just a really good play right there for Georgia. Huge gain. Was able to make that one miss and then get it. But, yeah. 21-17. 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Georgia's in shotgun. Again, this is number 15 versus number 6 right now. Handoff to the left. Cuts to the outside. Gets about 4.5 yards for Georgia right there. Pretty solid play right there. Again, just having this game on for a little bit right now. For those of you joining who were expecting the USF game, that game is still in weather delay for an estimated 10 minutes. So we're going to be watching or doing live play-by-play for Georgia-Tennessee for now. Less than 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Georgia has the ball. They are down by 4. Again, both teams are 2-0. This is a pretty big win. If you get this win, it's going to make it really easy to make the playoffs as long as you don't blow the end of the season. Wow, they're under center this time. We got 4 receivers bunched up to the left, motioning one of them to the right. Running back deep back in the backfield. Motioning the receiver back to the left. And they pitch it. It's going to be a run to the right. Gets past the line of scrimmage and gets tackled. They might give him a first down, but they should call him about a half yard shy of the first down. Still a really solid play. It's going to be about 3.5 yard. If you really wanted to and were bold, you could go for an end zone shot here and then just try and like QB sneaker halfback dive it on 4th down. Depends how safe they want to play it or how they want to play this one. Wouldn't be shocked if they go for an end zone shot here and just go for an 4th down, but let's see. They do hand the ball off, get the 1st down, and then some. Really solid play, about a 4-yard gain right there. Good play for Georgia. About 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. Probably going to just eat this clock out a bit. Snap the ball at about like 8:30, 8:35-ish, maybe even less. We'll see. See what Georgia does here. Yeah, it's a pretty big game. This is, I think most people view this as the biggest game of the weekend. Obviously, Notre Dame versus A&M is still a huge game, and USF versus Miami is still a big game. But this is probably one that most people had really circled in as the big game, obviously big SEC game. Georgia in under center again. Motioning receiver from the right to the left. Ball snap. They hand it off. Tries to cut in. Gets about a yard and a half. Again, looked like he was going to lose a yard and was able to get the 2-yard gain. Pretty solid play there for Georgia right there. You definitely take that. 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and goal for Kirby Smart's Georgia Bulldogs. Let's see if they can get a touchdown here. Definitely in 4-down territory, you would assume. Down by 4, you kind of want to get the lead here, so you're probably going to go for it in 4th down no matter what. We'll see if they can get it, though. I'm going to line up in shotgun this time. And this actually does make a lot of sense, too, for us watching the Miami game, because obviously Miami's quarterback was on Georgia last year and the year before that, I'm not mistaken. So, definitely fun to watch that. Another handoff. And are they going to give him the touchdown? He reached for it, but are they going to give it to him? No, they're going to roll him half-yard shy. Yeah, I would definitely try it. Yep, they're going to line up quick. They're going to try and probably do the... Honestly, they might be doing a quick pass here. Just a quick little pass to the left side here. I wouldn't be too shocked about that. Hand it off, and it's a... Should be a touchdown. Yeah, it's a pretty clear touchdown. Touchdown, Georgia. That's a play for them. And we are about less than 10 minutes away, so we will go back. Hold up. Is this... No way this is actually doing it. Wow, okay, so apparently my regular TV remote is actually hitting my light. That's actually insane. That is wild. I don't know why 2 is for purple. What is 5? Okay, 6? 7? Wow, this is weird that I can do this. That's so weird. I guess if I can like map out the buttons, I guess I really don't need my actual light remote. That's hilarious. Yeah, hopefully this game isn't delayed anymore, because if it's delayed anymore, yikes. We'll probably just switch to the Georgia-Tennessee game, honestly. Delayed. Yep, Gamecast back for this one. Again, should be out of the delay very, very soon, I would hope. So let's go to Twitter again. Arch Manning went 5 of 16 for 69 pass yards and 1 interception. Had 2 rushing touchdowns, but still did not look that good. That is... Yikes. That's not what you want to see if you are a Texas fan. Texas Longhorns football. Number 7 ranked team. I mean, they're still winning against UTEP, but I mean, this is one of those where if you don't win by that much, you probably honestly go down in the ranking. I would imagine, especially if you're only really winning because of like your running game and you were supposed to be good at passing, but yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Ooh, I forgot. I got to check my fantasy lineup. I have not checked my lineup. I got bodied in week 1. Not bodied, but pretty bodied. Because my whole plan, for those of you who don't know, my whole fantasy team is pretty much built heavily around Jordan Addison getting healthy. Or not healthy, but getting off the suspended list and potentially trading Stafford. Like, I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, my goal is for somebody that only has one really good quarterback to have their quarterback go down to injury, and then I can just kind of strong arm or trade with Stafford to upgrade my running back position. Well, we got some bad injuries, and Brock Bowers is very questionable. And so it's like, am I going to be forced to start Juwan Johnson, which I'm honestly not against. I think he's going to do really solid. But I'm going to be starting Juwan Johnson at tight end, and then I'm going to have my boomer bust tight ends or other guys, and it's like kind of rough there. Because I really don't want to have to play Kenneth Gainwell again, but I might have to. We'll see. Because I think I have a somewhat decent matchup this week in fantasy. Let's see. Estimated points are a lot closer than before. Yeah, I have to go against Colston Loveland as a starting tight end, so I'm definitely okay with that. And Rashid Shaheed is basically Alec Pierce. It's boom or bust with him. I'm not too upset. I think I can win this week in fantasy. We'll see, though. And the delay is going up even farther. So, we're going to make the strategic call. We are going to just watch the rest of the Georgia game. And that's it. We're going to end the stream after the Georgia-Tennessee game. That's my call. Because the play's going to resume at 6:30, and it's still got a ton of time left. Like I said, I am not in the mood for a 5-hour stream, which actually would be 5 hours. Because that means it's not going to resume till the stream is already about 2 hours and 15 minutes in. It wouldn't be 5 hours, but it would be over 4, and I'm not really in the mood for over a 4-hour stream considering what's on tonight. My plan was the stream to be over by like the time the main event of UFC is. So we are heading back to the Georgia game. So we're going to be just doing this one now. I am not going to change the title. I will put on something saying that we are changing it, but I'm going to post this again on Twitter. So let's go here, misclick something, go back to content, hit the live, look at the stats. And I hate when my computer does this. Due to the delay, I will now be doing a live play-by-play. Wow, I hate typing at an angle. The Georgia versus Tennessee game. There we go. So now we're gonna post this up here. Do I have a text open or like a text image? I do. Game, okay. So let's put this up, okay. Due to USF Miami delay, we are now streaming doing Georgia versus Tennessee. There we go. And we're going to make that as small as and hard for people to see, but we got it on there. There we go. Love it. So there we go. We got that now. That's what we love to see. So we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, we just witnessed Georgia score touchdowns. We're not really missing like any real action, which is definitely really nice. So we got this game going on now. Obviously, a shame that we're not going to finish the other game, but especially with how the Storm are, like, if there's even another lightning delay, it's just going to push the game back even more. And like I said, I'm really not in the mood for a super long stream. So we're going to be just doing this one now. But we'll see what ends up happening. Already a pretty high-scoring game, especially compared to the one we were just at. So, yeah. Go back here, put this on. In commercial break right now. That's why we're not really doing any play-by-play. We are halfway through the third quarter again. It's 24-21. So, while we catch up with some of the action, let's look at some of the overall box score statistics of this game, since we were kind of just joining in this one. So, Gunnar Stockton is currently doing pretty solid. 13-19 for 185 and a touchdown. Looks like they did try to do some sort of fake. I'd imagine that is the punter. Man, I haven't watched this team. No, it is. Went too far. Apparently, it is not. Okay, so they just had a backup quarterback come in and throw a ball. And so, okay, in terms of overall, and then Joey Aguilar has actually been going 16-21 for 229, 2 TDs and an interception. So overall, pretty good QB battle so far. Not a ton going on in the ground game so far, all things considered, right? Like, solid for Frazier, but not, 5 yards a carry is pretty solid. So there's a couple of decent ones, but nothing too absurd. But that's where it is so far. So let's see what happens in this game. Again, we are doing this game due to the delay of the USF game. Not going to be able to finish the USF game just because of the fact that time to stream today. Not in the mood to end the stream at like past 8 o'clock. So we're just doing Georgia versus Tennessee now, the other really big game of the week, or one of the other 2 big games of the week, because we still have the massive one tonight between Notre Dame and A&M, which sadly isn't going to be the most viewed game because of the Canelo Alvarez, because I know the pre-show probably starts earlier, but yeah. Ball is snapped. Aguilar fakes the handoff, looks in the middle of the field, looks to the right, throws a little dump off. Ooh, and he misses the catch. It bounced right off his fingertips. Incomplete pass. Big break right there for Georgia. Would have been a slight gain, but still a gain, obviously, so not what you want to see. Wow, Bristol doesn't start till 7:30. Wow, we really got a lot of stuff going on at the same time. And it's holding on Tennessee, so not only did they get the incomplete pass, but they're going to be a holding call, so they're going to lose 10 yards. It's going to be 1st and 20 now for them. Not what you want to see whatsoever. Let's see this. Yeah, definitely holding right there in his arm. I'm pretty sure it's the one they saw. In shotgun, got one running back to his right in the backfield. And he got 3 receivers lined up to the left, 1 to the far right. Ball is snapped. They do hand it off. Nice gain. About an 8-yard gain. Maybe even 9 if they were really generous on that spot. Really solid first down rush for them. Basically got back almost all the yards they lost to the penalty. It is still technically the right call for Georgia. They still did technically lose about 2 yards, all things considered. They just quick snap it. Aguilar's going to roll it to his right. No flag. He's going to run for it. And a big hit right there. He tried to fake a move to get the defender to bite. The defender did not bite. Just got a nice hit on him. 3rd and 13. Should be 3rd and 12, so they should call. But beautiful play by the Georgia defender right there. Again, he tried to fake the move, and he just got hit really hard. Beautiful play by the defender right there. What you love to see if you're a Georgia fan right there. 3rd and 11 is what the spot is. Wow that they spotted the way they did, but still. 3rd and 11, let's see. Can they get the first down here? This could be big for Georgia. Looks to the left, throws. And it is just a wildly incomplete pass. One of those you can't even tell who he was really throwing it to. That was a bad throw right there. Really awful 3 and out for Tennessee and a great one for Georgia. Playing the field position battle, this isn't good for Tennessee. And we're in Tennessee, remember that. But Georgia, they're looking pretty good right now. Incredible defensive series right there. It looks like he was trying to get the short crosser, or the slant really is what that would be, but he just kind of overthrew it or expected his guy to be farther back. Either way, though, it didn't work out. Punt is up. It is a pretty good punt, but it's going to be returned to the 35, to the 40, so they're going to get the ball at the 40-yard line. It is still in Georgia territory, so it's not the most insane one, but still. Clemson fans are coping. Oh, what an ending to that game. That was hilarious. I could not believe they actually ended up choking that game. I swear, I'm like a magnet for Clemson choking. Like, every time I watch Clemson, they lose pretty much. Like, I don't think they won since, like, maybe one of the years of T-Law that I watched. Because, like, I mean, I watched that game against South Carolina last year. They choked. And there's one other game last year they lost early on in the season I watched. But then every time I never watch them, like, win. But, I mean, so far, again, for Tennessee, that was a really rough 3 and out. That is definitely one you hate to see if you're a Tennessee fan. Just awful. You gonna update this at all? Or nah, okay. Yeah, we'll see if Georgia can answer. If Georgia can score a touchdown here, again, that'll be really huge for them, obviously. Score a touchdown, 7 points. You're going to be up 31-21. That's a really, really good lead. That's a 10-point lead with less than 20 minutes left, depending on how long we take for this drive, obviously. But we'll see. All I know, though, is, man, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm a bit scared. Because that really looked bad. I mean, again, we just turned this game on, and so far we've only really seen Georgia's drive, but considering when they got the ball, I would imagine Tennessee got the ball to start the half, and it just hasn't been looking good so far from what we've been watching since we just put this game on. Still in commercial break, my goodness. Okay, so while we're in this, let's go look at some other scores along the way right now. Nope, not CFB Miami. That's not what I looked up. CFB. Penn State still doing their job. Iowa State. Wow, Iowa State's an upset alert. It's only a 7-point game, and the AR State has the football. Again, Texas versus UTEP, like I said earlier, even though it's a 2-score game, if both teams score under 25 points, either team could win it. So not what you want to be right there. Good old Rocco back, son of Anthony back, UFL head coach, baby. I do not know about for sure, but QB is I was about to say Luis Aguilar, but their quarterback is, there we go, is Joey Aguilar. I do not know if he was the same one last year or anything about that. I don't think so, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. Tennessee was one of those teams that did really well last year, but for some reason, I just never watched them. Like, they were never the biggest game of the week, and if they were, there was like a team I just preferred watching over them. So I didn't really watch Tennessee last year. I think even the playoff game, that was when I paid attention to the least, because I thought it was a pretty obvious upset call in a lot of ways. Or not upset, but like, I wasn't shocked when they got bodied. But yeah. That's just all I know. Still in commercial break, man. They're really milking this clock. Or milking this ads. Chargers Raiders. Monday Night Football is going to be really good. Those are two solid games. So, 10 p.m. EST game. I mean, man, the UFL did that. There'd be like riots, but NFL is fine. What starting QB is the best win-loss in this series? For some reason, I want to say Stetson Bennett, and I honestly don't know why. But it's probably somebody from, I would say, the early 2000s, but I just want, my gut feeling says Stetson Bennett. I just have the feeling they beat Tennessee almost every year. Georgia is lining up under center. They've got one running back in the far backfield. Motion one of the receivers from the right to the left. They hand the ball off, cuts to the right, and he gets about 2 yards on the first down play. Not a huge gain, but obviously compared to what Tennessee did in their opening drive, or their last drive, still pretty good for him. 24-21, Georgia, Tennessee. Again, for those of you joining, watching, wondering why we're not doing the USF game, that game is still in delay, and even if it's out of delay because of time, we're just going to be doing this game for the rest of the stream. Georgia versus Tennessee. 24-21, in shotgun. Two receivers being motioned to the right, one being motioned farther left. Three receivers to the right now, one to the left. Running back is to the right as well in shotgun. Motioning receiver from the right to the left. Ball is snapped. They do pitch it, and it's going to be about a 1.5 yard gain. I don't know why Georgia's doing so many rushes. So from what we've been seeing, again, we've only watched a couple of drives, but so far it's been just rush. And they're not getting enough really to fully justify it, so now they're going to be forced to pass here at 3rd and 7. Or do some really weird, like, end-around type of play. But again, Tennessee, man, if they're able to stop them here, that's huge. Even though the field position battle still could definitely be played as long as Georgia's punter could pin him in a bad spot, but we'll see. And they are in borderline 4th down territory. If they get about 5 yards, they might go for it because they're kind of in no man's land, but let's see. Ball is snapped, rolling to his left. Throws it. It is incomplete. That would have been a first down if he had caught that. Now you got to punt it. If you had gained about 5 yards there, you would have been able to do it. Or if you caught that, you're at first down. But because of that, you probably got to punt it here, which they are. Hopefully, if you're Georgia, you pin them within the 10-yard line. If you don't, it's not going to feel that good. But if you pin them within the 10-yard line, it'll still feel like a somewhat win on that drive because you're pinning them in bad field position. Again, the field position battle. Let them get a first down, then force them to punt. Maybe get the ball back where you just were, or even, closer, but we'll see. Ball is snapped. Punt is up. It is going to be fair caught at about the 16-yard line. Not the best punt in the world for Georgia. Obviously not a bad punt, but considering that you just basically went 3 and out, you would have liked it to be farther back. Aaron Murray for Georgia was 4-0. That was the Affleck trivia question. 2013. Forgot about Aaron Murray. Now that I'm hearing him, I am kind of remembering him, honestly. (34-31) in that previous game. Florida begins a run of ranked opponents. Yeah, the SEC is wild. They're really just trying to make it to where like 6 SEC teams make the playoffs. It's going to be so funny when it doesn't happen. Pass throw to the right. It is caught. Misses the tackle. Gets the first down, or he's going to be called out by about a yard. Insane. If he tackles him there, that's going to be about a gain of maybe 1 or 2. Instead, he gets the first down. It's a huge missed opportunity right there for Georgia. Great play by the receiver to be able to break that tackle. 4 minutes left, a little over in the third quarter. Ball is snapped. Handed off. Cuts to the right and gets about 3.5 yards in the play. Still a solid first down play, gained some yardage. Really good for Tennessee right there. That's what you want to see if you're a Tennessee fan. Nice first down, and then you get a few yards in the rush. Ball snap. They're doing it quick. They fake the handoff. They throw it over the middle, and it's another overthrown pass. Again, if he throws it just a little bit shorter than he did, or a little bit less power. That's caught for a first down. Not what you want to see from Aguilar right there. That's 2 throws basically back-to-back. Well, 2 of the 3 that just weren't good throws. 3rd and 7. Once again, Georgia can still get away with this and potentially win the field position battle depending on the punt and obviously the return. Not what you want to see if you're Tennessee right there, that second down play. But can they get the first down here? In shotgun, 2 receivers to the left, couple to the right, running back to the right as well. Ball is snapped. Throws it to the left, and it's intercepted. What a horrible throw by Aguilar. That for Aguilar's sake, I would hope that was miscommunication with the receiver. Even then, though, if he just goes forward, I don't think he makes it. That was a terrible throw right there. Again, just said overthrow, and what happens? Overthrow. Interception, Georgia. Georgia's now going to get the ball within the 40-yard line. They're basically in field goal position already, and a field goal obviously puts them up by 6 points. Makes it a touchdown game. Let's see the replay. This will determine if it's fully on Aguilar or it's on miscommunication. Even if he doesn't slip and cuts that in, I don't think he gets that. I think that is on Aguilar. Even if he cuts in, because when he stumbled is when he lost all his speed, and when he cut in, he would have probably got about a step and a half by the time the ball was thrown. He wouldn't have gotten there in time. That is definitely on Aguilar. To a degree, the receiver obviously shouldn't have slipped, but at least to me, I don't think he would have gotten there anyway. And considering that 2 of his last 3 throws were missed throws, it doesn't bode well for Aguilar. Now Georgia gets the ball at the 37-yard line in Tennessee territory. They're in shotgun. Ball is snapped, handed off, and it's a half-yard gain. Beautiful play for Tennessee's defense right there. That's what you want to see. If you can hold them to a field goal, you're ecstatic as a Tennessee fan. You just can't let them score a touchdown. Touchdown, it's going to be really tough for Tennessee to get the W here. Because then Georgia can really start trying to milk the clock. But again, so far, Tennessee's doing pretty good at stopping the rush. But yeah. Clemson 1 and 2. So wild that it happened like that. Under center and 2nd and 9. Running back behind him. 1 receiver is far to the left and right. And then you've got 1 on both sides of the line as well. Ball is snapped. Handed off again, and it's going to be about a 2-yard gain. Again, I understand why to kill this clock, but you're not even in the 4th quarter. I'm not a huge fan of this constant run, because now, once again, you're doing a predictable 3rd down throw. And the only way I think that this is worth it is on your next drive, on your 2nd down, you do a play action. If you do that, then it can work. If you're viewing this as a free field goal, and that's the only reason you're doing this, like you're not even really trying to get a 1st down, I buy it. But if you're legitimately saying this is the best call, and then you don't do it later, bad call. Ball is snapped. Quick little screen pass to the left. It is caught. It's going to be about a 6-yard gain. Going to force a 4th and 3. Just kick the field goal here if you're Georgia. Again, we'll see what happens on their next drive. Georgia's next drive, you should get a guaranteed play-action pass within the first 2 plays. If they don't, then that means that this drive was terribly called. But this kick, if he makes his kick, obviously it's 27-21. It is technically a touchdown game. Granted, if you just kick the extra point, it's, when this is college football, we still have the OG, really easy extra point. But this is going to be a long one, and he is fully on the left hash. Well, depends how you view it. Right hash for us, left hash for him. Kick is up, and it is, oh man, what a beautiful kick. That was almost directly center. 27-21, Georgia has the lead with 1:45 left over Tennessee. Again, you got to get Aguilar to calm down a bit. Those were a couple of really bad throws that he was throwing on that last drive, and really the last couple of drives. You cannot have that happen on this one. 60-point margin to victory. Let's see, what did Cincinnati end up winning the game at? Wow, Scotty got all the way to 2nd. That's insane. Gene Silva, you better win for the Fighting Nerds. I guess the game ended. I just didn't see it. I'm not sure. I think Cincinnati won like 63-0. Maybe they let a single score, but I hope not, because if they did, that's kind of sad, honestly. Bearcats football, 70-0. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. 70-0. That is just, oh man. What were the overall stats? 600 total yards, and they probably had like none of that in the second half. I think they had like 120 yards in the second half. Kick is up. It is going to be a touchback. Let's see if Tennessee can do something here. This is pretty much really like This is a massive drive for Tennessee. The fact that you just had an awful interception be thrown by your quarterback. Again, it was mainly on your quarterback. You cannot lose this. Won 8 straight in this series. So, surely you're not going to let him get to 9, right? You don't want him to get to 10, but you're going to probably let him get to 9 if you don't score here. Even a field goal is good if you're Tennessee. Your defense has shown the ability to stop Georgia, whether it's just Georgia's trying to, get something set up for the next drive. But so far from what we've been seeing, they've been able to hold Georgia's offense, but you can't view it as like a guarantee. Ball is snapped, handed off, and it's going to be a nice 7-yard gain for Tennessee. I do like that call right there. I definitely agree that you do not want to throw it right after that interception. Now here in second down, I would arguably hand it off again, this time up the middle to the right, just not the same way he did it before. Ball is snapped, handed off, he does go to the left, and he gets tackled for 1-yard loss. That's why I would have gone to the right or the middle. They basically did the same play back-to-back. I am somebody who views it, if you get a good rush and you can keep doing it, you do it, but you don't do the exact same run unless you really are dominating them like we saw the Michigan Panthers do the Renegades last year. I like the decision to run it. I hate the decision that they went for the left. That's why I said they should have gone to the middle or the right. They probably would have gotten first down. Now it's 3rd and 4. Now you're, again, arguably forced to pass. 3 receivers are to the right, 1 to the left. Maybe it's an option play. Wouldn't be against that. Ball is snapped. It is going to be a straight pass. Throws to the left. It is caught. Wide open man. First down. And then some. It's going to be about a 9-yard gain right there. Really solid play for Tennessee. Going to try to get, looks like 1, maybe 2 more plays off by the end of this quarter. Ball is snapped, handed off, and it's going to be a solid 4.5, 5-yard gain, and they're going to have to call another play here, so they are going to be able to get that second play off, which is nice for them. Oh, no, clock reset there. I would do another play here just because why not? But let's see if they decide to. Yep, they do. Fake the handoff. Throw deep, throw to the right. Is it good? And he catches it. Touchdown, Tennessee. Absolutely huge for Tennessee. It is now 27-27 after the massive touchdown right there. That was that throw, man. Receiver, Brazil just made a beautiful play. He saw where the ball was coming. He decided to get under. Usually if the cornerback's supposed to be under in that scenario because, the receiver beat him. Instead, he basically realized he needed to just play under it. Was able to get it. Beautiful play by him. Good enough throw by Aguilar. I love the decision to throw so many times in both college and pro. You see that when you're able to just eat up the clock to end the quarter, teams do it. Sometimes you just need to call that play. It kind of catches them off guard. Did it right there. Massive touchdown. And if they make this kick, they have the lead. It is up, and it is good. 28-27 Tennessee over Georgia. Beautiful. Now they're going to show the replay here. Let's watch this. Throws it. Oh, he was just able to get that. That was a really solid catch right there. This is a better angle here. Okay, he's behind him there. Bit of pushing some from both. Ball kind of bounced off him. He was playing to catch the ball. Georgia DB, looks like what happened is the DB decided at one point that he was going to go for the reception, and then split second later decided he was going to go for just batting the ball down. And because he had that little bit of indecision, it ended up being an opening for him to catch that ball. Really solid, all things considered. Let's see. Is there any news about if this game's come back on? Granted, we're not going to watch it anyway. Okay, doesn't look like it. Whatever. I think I put on the wrong channel again. I did. There we go. Miami Hurricanes. Let's see. Is this game supposed to come back on soon? Excuse me? And it looks like it's going to be another touchback. We'll see what Georgia can do here. Was supposed to... Okay, I think it still should probably be done, but yeah. I don't know. Hopefully that game comes back on. We're not going to see it, but yeah. 27-28 Georgia is down against Tennessee. Will they be able to pull this off? This is a big matchup for both teams. If Tennessee wins, they're obviously going to jump Georgia in the rankings, which would be huge for them. Georgia wins this, they're probably going to jump up a spot or two, so yeah. The reason for the delay of the Bulls game was the most aggravating and annoying and unjustifiable delay there is, lightning. Ball is snapped, they throw it over to the left, it is caught for a first down, then an extra 5 yards, 15-yard game. Yeah, lightning delay, 8 miles away, and so they had to delay the game, and then it was supposed to reschedule for 6:05. Then the reason that we're now doing this game until the stream ends is because it got delayed again until 6:33. And I think it's still supposed to be there at 6:33. I don't know. I haven't been, I've been watching this game, so I haven't seen it. But, yeah, it got delayed for a solid hour because of lightning. And, hate to see it because it feels like it's become really common this season between the NFL and college. Because, the NFL, 2 games I watched had it. You had the first one and then this one, and then the Panthers one, but yeah. I call it a really close game. I believe Tennessee might take the win. So far from what we said, that was a massive play right there, that last play. Because that's what I love seeing. I love when coaches do the shock move like them. They did not have to call a play and do a play at the end of the quarter. They decided to. So many times teams decide to just run out the clock. So when you do call that play, it catches them off guard, even if by a little bit. And again, as mentioned, that DB easily could have gotten an interception or batted the ball down. But because he had an indecision, which may have been because he didn't expect the play to happen, was able to get the reception, massive touchdown out of the lead. Love seeing it. It's like when a backup quarterback comes in, right? When a legit backup comes in, not like a backup that was a starter. When a true backup comes in and you just say, F it, go deep, and immediately throw a 30-yard pass, it catches defenses off guard. You just don't see it coming. You think it's going to be a run. And that's what makes it so great. And then when you do that, you create that indecision in the future to where if a backup comes in again, the defense now thinks, oh, they're going to throw it, they're going to try to surprise us, and then you do the basic thing and run it and get a 15-yard rush. That's what I loved right there by Tennessee. That was a beautiful play for them to do that one. Love seeing them do that. And they got rewarded for it. Now they got the lead 28-27 at home. Got 1 quarter left. Even if Georgia scores, you've got more than enough time to come back down the field and score again. So we'll definitely see what ends up happening here. Yeah, the good old lightning delays. I really hate these lightning delays. I think it's probably because of suing stuff is what my assumption is. Because, it's been so common this season. The Cowboys game had it. Then you had the Panthers game had it. This game had it. It's just, Tennessee can keep momentum on that next drive and see another score coming. Especially because Georgia hasn't looked that good on offense the last couple drives either. Georgia's decision to keep doing back-to-back first play runs or first and second down rushes hasn't really worked out for them. As I was saying earlier, if they're going to do an immediate play action pass on first down, I think that could work. If they run it on first and second down again, I don't think it's going to look too good for Georgia. I think they need to do a play action pass explicitly on first or second down. They cannot do just a pass. They got to try and do something different because they've been setting up this idea they're going to keep running it on first and second down, and if they just do it again, it hasn't worked the last 2 times. It's probably not going to work this time. Tennessee's defense is too good to just do a basic run up the middle and, gain 10 yards. Let's see. Any big notifications up here? The NFL fined Jets Will McDonald $14,000 for a violent gesture. Dude, the National Soft... They need to call it the NSL, bro. The National Soft League. I'm sorry, but it's football. Boo-hoo, he did a grenade celebration. That's so, come on. That's just... They have their match, the aggressive energy that Tennessee is showing. They can definitely score if they do so. Do you see the Bulls straightening up before the half? I don't know when you joined, but what I was talking about earlier is it's a double-edged sword. Because when the delay happened, USF had momentum. They were able to get that big stop, which was great for them. But the other side of that coin, that defense was getting tired. They were on the field for a long time in that first quarter. So now the defense is going to be back to being just fully rested, which is really good for them. But they did lose momentum. And they get the huge rush play. Hey, credit to Georgia. They were able to get the big rush play. About a 16-yard rush right there for Georgia to the left. Big play for them. But I feel like USF, that first drive, if they can just get another field goal and, in all honesty, make it a one-score game, I think they have a shot. They need to score and they need to get a stop. I would say a pre-midfield stop. They can do it. because of the fact they're able to get their defense fully rested, it kind of eliminates all the good work that Miami's offense did in the first half in tiring that defense. And it kind of bails out the fact that USF was playing a very high-tempo offense, which wasn't really good for them, considering how Miami was playing offense. But if they're able to score and take time on the clock, I mean, if they do the same game plan Miami was doing to them, and they do this slow, methodical drive coming out of the break, I mean, that could really mess with Miami's head, and that could potentially make it a closer game. At this point, I feel like they should cover the spread relatively easily, like the initial spread. But winning the game, I think they still have a shot. It's going to be a lot about those first two drives, I think, is what would tell me it. 1st and 10 for Georgia. They are at the 44-yard line. They hand the ball off to the left, and they're able to get about 7 yards on the play. Was able to break a tackle. Really solid play for Georgia right there. Again, hey, credit to them. They're finally getting some, actual yards from their rushing attack. Let's see if they decide to do a play-action pass here. They got 3 receivers lined up to the right, 1 to the left. They got the running back to the right as well in the backfield. Ball is snapped, and they are going to throw it here. Throws it to the right, and it is a catch for over 20 yards. It's going to be caught within the 20-yard line. Really solid. Almost overthrew it, but was just good enough to be able to get that reception. Huge play for Georgia. And that does mean they are in field goal range. And beautiful catch, caught at the 20, was able to get another 10 yards. They're basically at goal line. Depending on where they spot him, they should be 1st and goal. It is 1st and goal. Tennessee defender is down right now. Again, 28-27. Tennessee does have the lead over Georgia. We'll see if they can keep this up. Do have 14 minutes left in the quarter. Man, I just hit my light again. Still can't believe this light actually gets hit by my regular remote. Okay, still in commercial. I was just seeing if the game was supposed to come back on, but it's not showing. It's on commercial break, whatever. Alright, Tennessee player is walking off the field. You do love to see that. And it's still in break, obviously, because of injury breaks. Thursday Night Football, man, that game was so mid. that game was so mid. That was something else. I do think Monday night's going to be good. Like I said, I think Monday Night Football is going to be really good this week. I think both games are going to be really solid. Buccaneers especially. I also can't wait to watch Panthers lose this weekend. They're going to get their ass handed to them by Arizona. I would be stunned if that game is close. And I forgot. I'm pretty sure I remember who our backup is because we still have Dalton. I think we do. I hope we do. I don't remember. I phoned it in so hard in terms of paying attention to the Panthers because how pissed I was about how last season was and how even this season was. Yeah, they do have Andy Dalton still, so maybe we see him. I don't know. Jalen Coker's on IR. I forgot about that. That's obviously not good. Hunter Renfrow is now a starting receiver for our team in 2025. Oh my God. Not what you want to see. But it is what it is. Then obviously we got just so much good sports on tonight. I mean, it really is wild. Speaking of good sports, what is the UFC? Because the main card started. We should be maybe 2 fights down. Only 1. Okay. Man, I can't believe this was supposed to be a big card. This is supposed to be a big card. I mean, in terms of name fighters, you've got 4, if that. Lopez, Silva, Rob Font, sure. Kevin Gastelum, sure. That's about it, really. This is a pretty weak one, all things considered. Which isn't shocking. I mean, the UFC, man, they make these weak cards that aren't that good, and then cost a ton of money. Though I take it back. The next couple of main cards are pretty good. I gotta give them credit for that. The game is still in weather delay. Yeah, that's a good call. So now we're going back to the Georgia game. I just want to see. So yeah, a good call to go to this one because I was not waiting at 7 o'clock. Georgia throws to the right. It is incomplete. 3rd and goal. They're going to be forced to kick a field goal here if I'm not mistaken because they are pretty far back. I just kick the field goal, get the lead. That's what I would do. In this scenario, you kick the field goal, get the lead. Make it 30-28. Make it a legit game. That's what I would do. But we'll see if they end up doing it. That's what I would do. but you never know. They are going to kick it as a 24-yarder. This should be an absolutely free gimme, no miss kick. Kick is up. Beautiful kick on the middle, and it is good. 30-28. Love to see that. Yeah, that's what you want to see right there. Let's go over here. Chet Beta. Some of these things are so funny. Not the high bidder. Annoying. Just looking at some stuff while we're in this commercial break. CGC. And go back over here. Search that up. Hopefully I looked the right thing up. But yeah, we are in commercial break right now. Again, Georgia did get that field goal. That was only a really good field goal for them to get. And I do like the call. Like, yes, I know some people would have been aggressive and would have said they should have gone for the touchdown because they were only 6 yards away. But I don't really think it's the right call. You just want to have the lead, and you kicking that field goal got you the lead. So now you're playing ahead. You're able to put more pressure on Tennessee because if you go for it and fail, that could really backfire on you because that means that Tennessee, in theory, could then just make a super slow, methodical drive and just obliterate the clock. And if they were able to finish that drive off with a touchdown, it's entirely possible you could have potentially let them start with the ball, the 6-yard line, and then go 94 yards downfield, eat up well over like 8 minutes of clock, and then have an 8-point lead. You can't let that happen. And if you're Tennessee in that scenario, you arguably might go for 2 to make it a 2-score game. So kicking the field goal, I know some would say it's a basic move. I know some would say they would rather go for it. I personally like the decision for them to kick the field goal. I think that sometimes you just got to do the more basic play, the simple one. Sometimes that's the right thing to do. Did like that call for them. Now they have the lead once again. It'll just be a matter of, again, can they actually do anything with it? You know, can they keep the lead? We'll see. But all things considered, I do like that call. That's what I would say. More Met stuff. Oh, man. I love seeing all this Met stuff. Man, the Mets were so good at some point earlier this season, and they just been choking and choking. Like, they should win this game, which is good because I think they're, like, starting to win again. Well, no, they, like, just lost that last series, if I'm not mistaken. But, let's see. NL right now, why? Yeah, there you go. Last 10, they're 2-8. My God. Yeah, they're right now not even a playoff team because it's, like, 3 wild cards. You'd have the Cubs, Padres, and... actually, no, they are technically a playoff team. It's just the Giants are catching up to them. Yeah, I see what the issue is. The Giants are surging. They're not. So it should have been a very easy... Like, they're not winning the division. It's now just a matter of being that low-seed playoff team. It's just them versus the Giants. That's literally the entire race. There's no other team that really would catch up. The Reds good. Like, they're not gonna, but, like, the Reds could. But, yeah. You never know. You never know what would happen. You know, baseball is funny. Sometimes a team can just start winning just out of nowhere and, like, win hard. But we'll see. So let's see what Tennessee can do here. Again, it is a 2-point game. Tennessee is losing. They need to score, obviously. If you're Tennessee, you do want to make this a tougher one. If you get the touchdown, you're probably going to go for 2 to try and make it a 6-point game for obvious reasons. But we'll see what they can do. Because so far from what we've seen, they made the one really good big play, but everything else has been just kind of okay. But yeah. Train commute, wild. In shotgun, ball is snapped, fake the handoff the wrong way, and they run it, and they only get him about half a yard. Really rough play for Tennessee right there. Not what you want to see. "12 minutes left for the game. In shotgun, once again, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff, look to the right, throws. It is caught for a first down and then some up to the 40-yard line. Really solid play for them right there. Excuse me. Gets at the 40-yard line. Yeah, nice play for them right there. 3 receivers to the left. Running back to the right side. Ball is snapped. Handed off. Cuts to the left. Gets the first down and keeps going up to the 40, the 35, and tackled at about the 32-yard line. Really good rush for Tennessee right there. This is really looking good for Tennessee. There's a couple of big plays in back-to-back plays. Again, only down by 2. Already in field goal range. Really good. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Drops back. Looks to his left. Throws it. Wide open catch. Touchdown. Tennessee is up 34-30. Snap of the fingers. Just a massive gain for them right there. Insane. That's what you love to see if you're them. Gotta love it. Wild plays for them. I mean, those are just like back-to-back, just gorgeous plays. You really cannot be upset about those. That's what you love to see. Let's do this over here. Do they make the oh, I don't like this call. I would have gone for 2. I know it's risky, but if you go for 2, you do make it a touchdown. I do kind of get it, because if you allow a touchdown and they get the touchdown, it's then 37-35. So you make them debate on going for 2 as well. It makes it a field goal game. But I also like the fact that if you go for 2 and you make it, like if you go for the 2-point conversion, you make it. Let's say you miss it. It's 34-30, meaning that even if they score, I don't know. I would have gone for 2. I feel like in that scenario, you're doing a lot of work. I feel like you should have gone for 2. I kind of get not doing it. I just would. That's what I would say. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Is the greatest saying ever made. Look up. Imagining, okay. Go back. Look up that. New post. Georgia, Tennessee is a class. It really is a great game. This is a really good game. But I think we're going to probably end this stream here. I'm getting pretty hungry, all things considered. It has only been 2.5 hours, but I think I'm kind of good for now. But I hope you all enjoyed watching this, and as always, guys, have a great night.